Bren Chong Cup is back with an incomparable prize pool of $40,000 and open to everyone. The competition will be divided into 4 regions: North America, Asia, Latin America and Europe, and also in 4 stages. The second will be the regional group stage. Starting on January 9, the 16 players from each region coming from the qualifiers will advance to the group stage, where they will test their potential against 16 players from the Clash Royale Elite. These 32 players from each region will be divided into 4 groups of 8, and in a round-robin format, they will fight to advance to Phase 3. The regional finals will take place from January 28 to 31 and will feature the 16 best classified from each continent. A single elimination bracket will determine the 3 representatives of each region. We will have a world final of the Bren Chong Cup for the first time, where it will be decided who is the best player on the planet. We will have live streamings in many languages: English, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, German. In short, that all of you will be able to follow the action. To follow all what happens in the competition, keep an eye on the Revel IMAR social networks and the Appgrade application. Thank Bren Chong for sponsoring this competition and making this event possible. Bren Chong Cup 2. Get ready for the show.
Are you ready for that show? I bet you are. Hello and welcome to Day 2 of the North American region in the Bren Chong Cup 2. I'm Rich Slaton, caster for Clash Royale League, here with you through all of the North American region, already to the European region, and of course in the afternoons you can do the LATAM region with Cashman, just like you did Asia with him in the previous week. We are in our second day of North American competition. Yesterday was, of course, fast and furious. Today we expect even more. Some newer faces, some older faces, some returning retired stars, apparently, all in the mix for this group. Should be a lot of fun. Of course, welcome to everybody in the chat. I did see that one of our competitors, Brighton, said that if he wins this event, he's going to give me $1 million, which is a shocker because the prize pool is only $40,000 and $15K to the first place winner of the entire event. But you know what? Sure, you're locked in now. It's a legally binding comment, and I'm excited to take all of your money in the future. Yesterday was really great, and you can see if you're in the chat right now on YouTube, one of the leaders in Group A, Latak, is in the chat, 3-1 yesterday in his gameplay. And of course, you can watch the replay right here on this channel if you haven't seen that already. Today, we're in the first half of action for Group B, and we'll have those rosters up on screen for Group B in just a moment. Format stuff. We are currently in the group stage. We have 4 regions: Asia, North America, EU, and Latin America. Each region has 4 groups of 8, Group A, B, C, and D. The top 4 players from each group will move on to their regional finals. After we go through the regional finals, the top 3 from each region go on to our grand finals in February. So a lot of Clash Royale left to be played. In this stage, the group stage, it is a round-robin format, meaning that all 8 players will play the other 7 players from their group. We're going to get through the first half of our Group B pool play today, meaning each player will play about 3 or 4 of their overall games, and then in a few days later, we will get back and do the second half of that gameplay. Looking at Group B here, and again, part of this format is half the players are invited pros, half the players are open qualifiers. AirSurfer, Alaa, Bag, CMChugh, which I'm surprised there's no picture there for him, but a very famous player from Clash Royale lore, Brighton, Parker the Boss, Kasim, and Dread on lock, rounding out the rest of this group. And again, CMChugh retired after the 2018 season of CRL, and I believe that this is the same CMChugh. I have not been told otherwise in any way, and if so, that's a pretty big and kind of a shocking return to Clash Royale overall. I'm very curious to see if he does, and yeah, this looks like this is the exact, I'm looking at the account right now, this is the same CMChugh from CCGS, from CRL, who disappeared from competitive Clash Royale for quite a while, and apparently is back. Maybe the prospect of being able to play in a solo CRL and not have to be part of a team, live in a team house, go through all those steps, maybe that's been something that is alluring to some players. So while we have seen some players retire from competitive play at the end of 2020, we are apparently seeing some players get back in the mix, maybe just because of this shift in format. So very curious to see what CMChugh's level is at right now. One way you can follow along, guys, and we're going to go to this screen right now, is the Appgrade app, so you can see where everyone's level is at. Appgrade, there's the link in the chat, APPGRADE. Appgrade is a way that you can follow along with both results, schedules, even vote on who you think is going to be the winner of each and every game, each and every match throughout today, and throughout the entire event. You can go through by days. So day 1 and day 5 is Group A, day 2 and 6 is Group B, 3 and 7 is C, and day 4 and day 8 will be our Group D action here in North America. So a fun way for you to follow along with the action, easy way for you to see what the results are, what the scores are, and what the schedules are as well. Of course, as I mentioned before, voting as well. Let's take a look at some of the chat here for a moment. We are streaming only on YouTube, by the way, not on Twitch, so if you want me to stream on Twitch, sorry, we're here on YouTube. This is the place for the event. Rich Gino, programming, asks Zigzag Nemesis. No, I do not know anything about programming. I tried to learn HTML once, and the results were dismal, to say the least. So, not really a programmer here. When is Boss playing? Cornelius, well, go ahead and download the Appgrade app, and you can see what the exact match order is going to be throughout the entire day. Let me take a look at something really quickly. I'll tell you our opening matches. Our first 4 matches of the day are going to be Alaa versus Bag, Brighton versus CMChugh, AirSurfer versus Dread Unlock, and Parker to Boss 2. Parker up against Kasim. Boss, I saw someone ask about, is in Group C, which will be tomorrow. And again, all that stuff available for you on Appgrade, as well as here, I'm going to give you the rules in the chat here so that you can go ahead and check out some of those, some of the different regulations, some scheduling things, and of course, the prize pool. And it's interesting. Today we are working with much less of a delay, so I actually have to time my pressing the button with my talking a little bit differently now. But as you might have noticed, there's no delay. I can see the chat right now. There you go. Now we'll see AirSurfer show up. That's Mr. Antonio 18. So as you can see, a little bit less of a delay today. Was requested last time out, so today we put ourselves on low latency. So boom, I can get right back at you very, very quickly. There is no Twitch stream in English. If you do want to watch on Twitch and not on YouTube, you can go and watch it in Espanol. There's the link to Rebel Amar stream. If you'd prefer to watch it on Twitch, you can watch it in Spanish. If you want to watch it in English, here's where you're watching, right here on YouTube, on my channel. Go ahead and hang out. And if you are hanging out, by the way, go ahead and hit a subscribe right here. Eris Hernandez, how are you? I'm doing very well. Good to see you on top of here as well. The fiber probably. Yeah, my internet's way too fast. Someone's asking if you think the Latak thinks he can beat Molt in a 1v1. Probably. I don't know Molt's overall skill level, but I don't think Molt's ever been a competitive player, so my guess is that most of these players have a pretty good chance in Molt in those situations. A little background, Alaa and Bag have a bit of a reputation to BM each other, so expect some of that, and that's going to be game number 1 of the day here. Willis Rota saying, watching from Kenya, love the stream, definitely using code RICH this week. Thank you very much. And yes, let me go ahead and throw that on the stream here for just a moment. Down in the bottom left hand of your screen, code RICH in all Supercell games, whether it be Clash Royale, Brawl Stars, Boom Beach, wherever you can do a creator code, code RICH. Go ahead and use that, and that supports me a little bit. And if you desperately don't want to use my code, use someone's code, because it supports creators, and it's very, very helpful to add in a little bit extra. Let's see. Watching from India, says Surya. Thank you very much, Surya, for coming and joining. Happy to have you here. And here we go. First match of the day. Let's jump right on into it. Alaa versus Bag. And this should be a fun one. And we are joining this one just a couple seconds late. I'm guessing that maybe they accepted the match before the instructions from production. But here we go. Bag running Giant Skeleton Skelly Barrel Clone. And Alaa looking like Graveyard in the opening game. Alaa did hit a 3rd place finish in one of the global tournaments in 2020 and has some competitive experience throughout 2020 and already here in 2021 playing with Zero Zone and Draft Duels. Of course, draft mode, the primary game mode of CRL this year. So getting some expertise in draft mode going to be very valuable. And that's a big clone here. Forces out the snowball. Cannon cart connects anyway. And Bag is all over it. That's tower down, left-hand side. Going to be very, very difficult for Alaa to get back in this one. Of course, the other player on the board here, Bag, very, very well-known player in the Clash Royale community. 8.5K personal best. That's pretty nutty. Also known as Bicicleta sometimes. Sets up Giant Skeleton and Skelly Barrel to the right-hand side. Not draft, duels is the primary mode, FaZe, for CRL. Not draft. Duel mode, which I'm a big fan of. Very excited to see what that does for CRL 2021. And just no way to break through here, really. Night Witch on top of, Mother Witch on top of it. Man, I wonder if Bag just totally sniped here, because Mother Witch against a Graveyard is absolute brutal. Absolutely brutal. And this is going to be a lot on the tower. 2 Mother Witches plus a cloned one, Giant Skeleton. Yeah, this is one of the most brutal matchups I've ever seen. Lataxane definitely meant to counter GY. And, talk about trying to get good matchup. Bag here with an absolute snipe in game number 1. Got to get Bradley Cooper to play him in the next movie. That was such a snipe. Let's see. FaZe throwing out the Sir Tag ending. Nice work there. Absolutely destroyed. Great choice from Bag in that matchup. And, that's one of the things that I think that a lot of players don't do enough of currently in competitive Clash, especially in head-to-head play and solo play, is really focus on how they game plan for their specific opponent. And the players who do that, especially as we get into CRL with that duel mode being the primary mode for Clash Royale League competition, the players who really work hard to get good analysis and build out that deck pool matched up specifically for their opponent will have a big advantage, I believe, when we get into CRL 2021. Let's see. A lot of people have their different... I see some opinions from there, which is cute, and not going to lie, says Relapse. Oh, thank you, Relapse. I do appreciate that. We managed to snipe your stream here. Thanks for hosting. Yeah, well, I'm enjoying it. Let's go ahead and jump into our next one. Hello, I am Japanese. Japan is now 4 a.m. Please do your best at work. Oh, thank you very much. I do appreciate having you here, and I am a big fan of your country. Here we go to the right-hand side. Ice Wiz into a Royal Recruits Wall Breakers deck. Very, very interesting here. So it looks like Graveyard or Royal... that Royal Giant with the Ice Wiz, maybe. And coming up next will be CMChugh and Brighton. So curious to see CMChugh getting back into action. Oh, this is Balloon from Alaa. So minor wall breakers with Cannon Cart and Royal Recruits. Bag getting right after it early. I don't know if anyone's checked on Twitter yet. I'm very curious. I'm going to go and check out CMChugh on Twitter. And see if he says anything about this tournament today. He has been posting some Clash Royale videos, shockingly enough. Very, very curious. Cannon Cart behind the Inferno Dragon, and the Miner goes right to the Ice Wiz. Oh my word, Bag is so far ahead in terms of game planning right now. He is playing a game in the future, and Alaa is just trying to play catch-up so far. Giant Skeleton to the right-hand side. 3-3 split from back. So far, this has been all for bag in both games. And as that, I guess going for the King Tower here has some value. Balloon goes the opposite direction. Inferno Dragon not going to be necessary because, yeah, there's a Hunter. Miner comes out to try to help with that Balloon, but rough situation here for Alaa. Miner goes to the outside. Cannon Cart works on the Ice Whiz. Wall Breakers get picked up by the Tesla, still down to under 1,000 HP as the tower on the right-hand side. Bag with some great deck picks and excellent Clash Royale so far. And Alaa just sitting here. I wonder if he DC'd or just decided that he was dead in the water. That's going to be a GG well played. 2-0 win here for Bag. Very interesting. GG well played there. 1 second here, folks. Let's go take a look at the chat. No BM, unfortunately. No BM, unfortunately. Insane deck choices from Bag, says Latak. First Mother Witch edition in Giant Skeleton Clone for GY, and then the Hunter Inferno Dragon for the Loon decks. Little things like that make all the difference. GG's. Yeah, really, really excellent work from Bag, and that's that's preparation. I mean, that's also knowing your player, your opponent, if he's played him a bunch. Pretty solid snipes there on both ways, but that's really knowing the person that you're playing against. Hey, Plum Boy, you came from the game. Thanks for joining. This is the Bren Chong Cup 2 $40,000 prize pool for this event, featuring over 120 players from 4 different regions throughout the world. Yasmina, why is the picture blurry? Well, I'm coming out in 1080p, so maybe check what you're viewing at would be a good way to do it. Let's see, Clash Royale joining in, and I'm very excited. Let's take a look at what our next matchup is going to be. Next matchup is going to be Brighton versus CMChugh. So one of our open qualifiers who's been here in the chat fairly often throughout this event, who's very excited to be participating, up against a legend, a guy who's been around for a very, very long time, was in CCGS, was in CRL, very successful in CCGS. CRL maybe didn't turn out the way that he had intended. Cloud9 maybe underperforming a bit in that event, but still a long-time top-tier player of the game making his return to competitive play. Let's go ahead and jump on in to our first game. Brighton going to be bottom of your screen, CMChugh up at the top. And Brighton gets aggressive, Hog to open up, expecting this is Hog EQ. And Hunter is in almost everything right now, so this could be a whole lot. And the Hunter shot at... I was like, what did that Hunter shoot at for a second? It was the skeletons that came in on the inside. Setting up Knight on the right-hand side is CMChugh. And again, there's not a lot of people who started competitive Clash Royale as early as he did. There are very few people who have 2016 on their list for competitive credits. And he was took 4th place in RPL Americas 2 back in 2016 as part of Team Takeover, and 2 other solo events as well. And again, that's a very short list of guys who've been around that long. Of course, stepped away from it after 2018, the CRL NA season, when Cloud9 came in 4th after being eliminated in the first round of playoffs by TSM. And Brighton just not happy about that. So CMChugh going with one of the more popular decks in the meta right now. CMChugh was not teammates with St. Pelican on Cloud9. Cloud9 was CMChugh, Wings, Baron, and Trainer Chris. And Brighton late there with the mortar pickup. Nerves are a factor here, folks, and That's one thing, is that I doubt CMChugh's feeling much in the way of nerves in this competition. You know, we don't know what his level's at, but I doubt he feels nerves here. Whereas Brighton, first time competing on a stage as big as this one, curious to see how he handles the pressure. Hog EQ into the right-hand side, one shot from the Hog. 40 seconds left remaining in regulation, and the mortar comes down. Bomb tower to pick it up. Boss is playing tomorrow, guys. Those of you who are asking about Boss, he's playing tomorrow. Hog to the right-hand side, Graveyard into the left. Hog will take 2 shots, maybe gets a third. We'll see if that third one does connect, and it does. And just like that, Brighton in the lead here. Apparently, the Brighton's account only has 93 of the cards unlocked. Interesting. Oh, Boss is here in chat. Yeah, well, he's not playing today. He's playing tomorrow. Hog to the right-hand side. Won't connect this time. CMChugh needs to put some pressure on, put it on quickly. Cannon Cart is tanking, though. Skeleton's getting a little bit of damage. There you go. Fireball in on the right-hand side, and just like that, CMChugh does get it very, very close. 887 to 806. Hog to the right-hand side. Mortar gonna go high here to defend. EQ working on the mortar. Spears down on the left-hand side. We are 90 seconds away from the end of sudden death. I doubt we get there, though. Hog doesn't connect, and CMChugh does take the lead, 686 to 806. Hog into the right-hand side, and the cycle's starting to become troublesome for CMChugh to keep up with. Cannot get back around to that mortar quickly enough, and this is where things could get difficult for the former CRL pro. Going to load up here on the right. Has to get the mortar down for this Hog. This time mortar will be in cycle. But again, he has to mortar, even though he's mortaring high, to pressure that right-hand side. It's not going to get as much. And there you go. EQ in on the right. Graveyard with no tank. Bar Barrel doesn't pop in time, and it does. Fireball needs to come in for CMChugh, and it does come down. Can he beat out this Hog? The log does take care of the Graveyard on the left-hand side. The EQ for Brighton does not get tower. The EQ does not get tower. That's going to be a GG here. Oh, my word. Brighton also kind of not even playing. He might have thought it was over and taken his fingers off the phone a bit too early. CMChugh, first game back in competitive, and takes the W here against Brighton in a close one. GG, well played. GG, well played indeed. Game number 1 goes to CMChugh. Very curious to see where he's at. I'm going to say that a bunch because we're seeing a guy who hasn't played at this level in a very, very long time. Yeah, and Brighton missed a couple of EQs. That's the thing. You know, we saw nerves yesterday. Latak played in the opening match yesterday and looked awful in his game number 1. The first game of the day, it looked like it was going to be a long day for Latak. But then he buckled down, got the reverse sweep in that match, and ended up 3-1 on the day at the top of the table for Group A. So, you know, it's possible that we'll see some correction here from Brighton now that he gets that first game out. But 2 missed earthquakes. Yeah, that's going to be a big problem in a matchup like this one. Remember when they first released the in-game tournaments and CMC won like 2 or 3 of the huge tourneys right out of the gate? Yeah. He was big time back then. Brighton did end up 3-1, Parikh, because his final match was played off-stream against Steven G, and Steven won that final match. So Brighton, Latak did end up 3-1 as opposed to 3-0. But again, 3-1 in your first day of group play, it's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. And again, if you guys are just joining, welcome to the stream. I'm Rich Slaton. That's me. That's me here, and then also that's my name right over there. You can also follow me on Twitter. There's a link in the chat. Don't forget to subscribe here, and of course, like this video. Let's show a lot of support here for NA Clash Royale esports. I don't know, half of these plays won't even get to 6 wins in a CC. Well, Pepe, you have a player who's good, but who open qualified and is probably pretty nervous in his first ever match, played on a stream that has thousands of viewers across multiple languages, the biggest event Brighton's ever been in. On the other side, you have CMC, who is one of the top pros historically, but hasn't played competitively since 2018. So, you know, we might have some growing pains here. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 2. If you lost to Steven 2-1 if I'd won. Would have been 4-0, possibly already qualified for Stage 3. Yeah, would have put you very close. Do I think Prime Surgical Goblin could beat Prime CMChugh? Yeah, I think either of them could be either one. There's no like, this guy couldn't do it or that guy couldn't do it. Lumberjack meets Lumberjack. And CMChugh just sitting back on this one. Naked Balloon to the left-hand side, right into the Archers. And an Inferno Dragon. Let's see how CMChugh chooses to handle this. 2004 to 2262 so far. And yeah, guys, I try to read the chat the best I can. Yeah, CMChugh did retire, guys. That's part of why this is so interesting. As I said earlier in today's stream, some players retiring because of the change in CRL format, but I think that some players, maybe ones who didn't want to do the team format, live in a team house, be subject to someone else's practice schedule, et cetera, I think we're going to see some of those players, and the balloon does activate King Tower. Or was that already activated? I think that was already activated, yeah. Death damage comes in on the right-hand side. 934, and look at that freeze in from CMChugh, forcing out some expenditure and getting some good damage there on the right-hand side. Bit more difficult question says, do I think Prime Surge is better than Prime Ruben? It's hard to make that evaluation because they played two different games, right? Surgical Goblin was Prime in this very basic game that had far fewer cards in it. Ruben is really, really good in this version that has tons and tons of cards. It's hard to compare those two in that vein. 206 to 662, CMChugh in the lead despite the NATO mistake earlier on. And that balloon, I think, going to end up just a bit short, and it does. And now it's CMC's turn to go with the balloon opposite direction. Snowball trying to stop things, and the Lumberjack underneath, out of Brighton, steals the game as the freeze is on tower. Brighton gets aggressive and evens us up at 1-1. GG, well played. What an excellent bit of thievery there from Brighton. Nice work. Bryce saying, I think Morton has been the most consistent throughout the phase of the game. Yeah, Morton is probably, of the people who are on that GOAT list, Morton is the most consistent. He's been good throughout all different stages of the game. Surgical Goblin has had his ups and downs. Very, very amazing in 2019, bad in 2018, amazing in 2019, bad in 2020. Ruben has been good his entire career, but was under 16, so couldn't play in CRL until the second half of 2019. So it's kind of hard to put that in there. Conquer Gaming saying, I'm sorry to ask again, but I would like to know a free-to-play deck for CRL. Hoggy Q. Hoggy Q is probably a great free-to-play choice. That or Mortar EQ Cycle. Those are two choices you can have there. CMC is playing all right here, but a couple mistakes. And that's, again, you're talking about a guy who's not played competitively in a long time. A couple mistakes are things you expect. I don't think we can really make a good evaluation of either one of these two players off of match number one. Eris Hernandez saying, hi, Rich from Panama City. Hello, Eris. Pompeo's been here forever. Yep, absolutely. Let's see. Thanks for casting, says Nolan Powell. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being a part of it, guys. And if you're just joining us, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a moment of the action here for the Bren Chong Cup 2. $40,000 on the line. And this will be your home for the NA region. Of course, also replays available now for EU, which we already finished, and the shared live streams from Cashman, who's doing LATAM, helping out with both, sharing both Asia and LATAM replays here on this YouTube channel. So thanks to Cashman for that. And we should be getting our game number 3 here in just a moment. Remember, this is ban on first loss, guys. And here we go, jumping into game number 3. So meaning that both players now do have a ban at this point. Balloon and Miner are both out. Graham, who's going to cast CRL when you're playing? That is very, very nice of you. I will not be playing in CRL. And Latak with a pretty good point here. This is probably a more important match for Brighton than it is for CMChugh. Brighton needs to get some confidence and get it down early. Stealing that one was certainly a good one. And we'll see some of CMChugh's management and mechanics here in this one. With Brighton going double bait and able to really stretch the floor thin. We'll learn from this game, I think we'll learn a lot about Brighton, and we'll learn a lot about CMChugh and where he is right now. Brighton cycling log to the right-hand side. First minute, 15 away, and a little bit of damage on both sides. Dark Goblin sets up on the right-hand side, and the Knight to protect. Smart play here from Brighton. Bomb Tower cleans up a lot of that. And the first graveyard push in for CMChugh. Snowball not coming in to clear out the skeletons. So Dark Goblin and Skellies will stop a lot of that, but still a few skeletons getting through. CMChugh in the lead, 20-65 to 22-93. And Knight down a little bit late there on the part of Brighton, not protecting the Hunter as it was meant to. A lot of people here saying that double bait is no skill. Interesting. Very interesting evaluation of a very popular deck, especially amongst pros. And there's a connection on the left-hand side, and just like that, we're pretty even. Knight Cannon Cart on the right being met by the Hunter and the Knight. Skeletons and Dark Goblin working on defense. Fireball comes in, gets the Dark Goblin off. CMChugh in the lead as the Skellies begin to connect. Every single deck is no skill. Yeah, I'd say that the most no-skill deck is the most recent one I lost to. 13-19 to 18-86. Sudden death overtime. CMC in the lead. Solid high bomb tower there. And CMC has to do double drops mostly. Snowball not going to fully counter those Goblin Barrel pushes, and Fireball going to be a negative elixir trade. Plus he wants that Fireball to get the Dark Goblin off the board when he can. Brighton generally defending these graveyards pretty well. But what you're seeing on the right-hand side is the bigger concern. The Cannon Cart, I think, should be more of his concern here than the graveyards. He has pretty solid graveyard defense locked in here with that Dark Goblin, the Log, and Skellies necessary. The Dark Goblin steps into the Fireball. Graveyard gets in. Look at that. Skeletons and Log, though, clean up pretty nicely. Here we go. Skeleton Barrel to the left-hand side. Dark Goblin high in support. Bomb Tower to clean up. Gets the Dark Goblin off. And then the Goblin Barrel comes in behind. Solid Fireball value there on both the Mega Minion, Knight, and Tower. Final 30 seconds. And that's going to be a lot of damage on the right-hand side for CMChugh. And that's probably going to be it. Skeletons get it down. CMChugh opens up his return to competitive play with a 2-1 win over the Open Qualifier Brighton. GG, well played, and welcome back, CMC. Jonathan Stromberg says, Rich, any thoughts on Prince not being used often? Or Prince is around a lot in a lot of double Prince decks. Outside of double Prince, not so much. There's a couple of other decks that we saw someone yesterday running with Prince. Can't remember who it was. I think we saw No Candy throw Prince into his graveyard, his bowler graveyard deck in place of a graveyard, which was hilarious. That one I found to be pretty impressive, or at least pretty funny. Maybe not impressive. It was pretty ladder rough there, but it was what it was. What's the other? Was CMC invited? I believe that CMC was an invited pro here. I'm not entirely sure. Do you think Brad can still play competitively? If he wants to, I'm sure he can. It's a very different competitive game this season. And again, there's the link to the official esports Clash Royale webpage with all your information for CRL 2021 available right there as well. How's it going? Says Michael. Michael, I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. Dread time. Yeah, coming up next is going to be, let's take a look at the schedule. AirSurfer against Dread Unlock. So very curious to see Dread Unlock up against a guy who's long been one of the top 1v1 players in the game, especially when we're talking about playing online. We'll see how he's able to fare. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. Dread Unlock's personal best, 7.7K, 77.43. Best finish, 252 on ladder. Kurt Neiman, I don't know who that is. Hey, Rich, let me know when you want to grind on some D2. I'm not really playing D2 these days, but I do miss it. It was a lot of fun. Hold on, there shouldn't be any... Let me check the ads here. There shouldn't be a pre-skip... Oh, let me turn the skippable video ads off. There should not be one there. I'm sorry, I just turned that off. There wasn't supposed to be. There wasn't supposed to be a skippable video add-on. I just reset that. My mistake there, folks. And we are in a bit of a staring contest here. Yeah, there are overlay ads, and I'll run ads on this when it's a video on demand. But for the live stream, there's no skippable video ads. But those of you who did watch ads, thanks for helping out. Do appreciate that. And Lava Hound versus Lava Hound. What is a staring contest? A staring contest, King Zoo, is when neither player plays anything for the first minute or two because they're waiting to be they don't want to be the first person to move. So far, Dread with the lead. Inferno Dragon doesn't connect because the barbs pick it up. So Lava Night Witch for Dread Unlock. AirSurfer's Miner goes to the back. And just like that, AirSurfer in the lead, but now it's Dread's turn to counterplay. Lots of dragons on the board. And I know Lava Hound isn't a dragon, but it really should be. It's much more of a dragon than it is a hound. Flying Machine down for AirSurfer. Miner goes to the back. Inferno Dragon turns that direction. Flying Machine connects. And that's going to be a lot of damage here for AirSurfer. Lava Hound comes down for the opposite direction, pulls the Flying Machine off. 6:11 remaining, and now Dread Unlock loading up behind this Lava Hound. Going to get some good value out of his Inferno Dragon here, working on the Lava Hound of AirSurfer. Doesn't get much from it, though, and now it's AirSurfer's turn to load up. Night Witch feeling like it's not going to be that consequential in this matchup. Miner comes in, and the Miner on defense to try to pick it up. Does get the pickup, but after one shot gets in. Under 500 HP on the right-hand side. Baby Dragon holding strong for now. Good fireball to clean up. But AirSurfer way ahead on damage and on elixir. Going to be very difficult here for Dread Unlock to do much of anything. Miner outside, nothing to pick up. That's going to be a ton of damage in here one more time. And as the arrows do some cleanup work and Fireball comes out defensively, AirSurfer now. Just needs to get one more Miner on, really. And good games on both sides. Lascar, the settings are in Spanish because this is being broadcast from a production studio in Spain. That's why. So there you go. That's why the game settings are in Spanish. Let's look at the chat here for a moment. Hey, DRS. Thanks, man. Really do appreciate it. Appreciate you being here and appreciate the kind words. Mance Raider saying, there's such thing as a no-skill deck, just more luck than skill, like Graveyard. Sure. The luck-to-skill ratio, the sliding scale, you can say. Why do staring contests happen, asked Riley Prosser. Is going first really that bad sometimes? Yeah, it certainly can be. It depends on starting hand, right? You look at your starting hand and your opponent hasn't moved yet and you go, man, I don't have any good opening plays. Nothing good in my hand to start with. Also, sometimes if you're playing a heavier deck, waiting until double elixir is valuable for you. So a lot of different reasons why you might get into a staring contest. But essentially, there are many situations where either moving first is not the good move, or where you'd love to wait until double elixir because you feel like your deck is more powerful in double. So those are two reasons why they happen sometimes. Good question there, though. I want to take time to plug my career. Oh, thank you, Giacomo Di Stefano. Giacomo. I think that's how I pronounce that, Giacomo. But either way, thank you very much for plugging the correct creator code. I do appreciate that. Do I think Golem needs a nerf? What about a yeet? A yeet would be good. So we'll see. If maybe they listen to me saying I don't like Golem and they get rid of it, but I doubt it. Like on all EU streams. Thank you very much, Malish. Malisha. And Mikey with the $7 Canadian. Mikey, thank you very much, man. I do really appreciate the support. It's pretty cool. Tesfaye saying, if your starting hand is bad, you're in trouble regardless, right? Not necessarily. It just depends on, let's say that you're playing something that's a faster cycle deck. I mean, you typically want to go more quickly if you're playing fast cycle. Say you're playing a medium weight deck, but you have none of your good, no cards that you really want to cycle or that you want to start moving with in your hand. Your opponent hasn't played yet. It's kind of hard to pull that trigger. Is today the first day that CMChugh plays? Yes, it is. What are your thoughts on quarterly balance changes, says Yash Vardan. I think quarterly balance changes, if the developer team has said that they want to put more focus on developing the game and less on balancing the game. So I think that's a big positive. I think it's also a big help out to players who are either free to play or don't want to spend as much on the game, but who want to be able to level up a viable deck for CRL. So I think those are the reasons. Those are some positives from quarterly balance changes rather than monthly balance changes. Why don't you personally like Golem? Ugh. That's it. Just Golem is ugh. I've never played against a Golem player and been like, ooh, look at the brilliant play they did. I've always been like, oh, look, they put a Golem down and then a bunch of stuff behind it. So that's my feeling on Golem. Game number 1 went to AirSurfer. No big surprises there. Why did I stop streaming on Twitch? Because I was using the Restream service to go to both YouTube and Twitch, and then it bugged out, and I'd rather stream. If I'm going to pick one, I'm picking YouTube. I might do some co-streams on YouTube and Twitch for some of this event, but honestly, I'd rather just have everyone here together. The only reason I was doing Twitch was, A, because some of the more hardcore members of the community prefer Twitch over YouTube, and because of the ability to take clips of highlights. Other than that, I'd rather be on YouTube. Someone saying Golem is not, ugh. That's a Golem player. If the current state of the game didn't reward Golem first play so consistently, then maybe I would hate Golem less. I'd probably still hate it a lot. But considering that Golem first play so often works out, it just, ugh. And again, I've never felt outplayed by a Golem player. Giant Skeleton to the left-hand side for Dread unlock. Mortar high here for AirSurfer. I think Lumberloon is cool. Balloon gets pushed to the outside, so won't get any damage anywhere. Knight does get one swing on the right-hand side, 1572. AirSurfer firmly in control so far. Good placement on the miner here. AirSurfer's been doing a good job of using the miner as more of a surgical strike card rather than just going and getting damage on tower, and that's really critical in a matchup like this one. Miner to the front. Miner this time goes for damage. AirSurfer has plenty of time to cycle back. Does the mortar get another shot on tower because of that giant skeleton? And it does. AirSurfer playing a great game here so far. That push will go nowhere. Dread Unlock calling good game. And AirSurfer sets up mortar to the opposite lane now. Having no problem switching lanes. And that Musketeer is still working on the right-hand side. She stays alive for a very long time. Man, AirSurfer's placement is just perfect. It really is just perfect. When AirSurfer is on, he is typically perfect. He's a guy who, you talk about nerves. He's a guy who's had challenges with nerves in the past in some big moments, but when he is on, he's one of the best in the world, no question about it. 2-0 win here for AirSurfer. So the vets, for the moment at least, having some of the top players or top plays of the day. My thoughts on Hog in the back. Why would you Hog in the back? That's my thoughts on Hog in the back. Is Canario retired? Not entirely sure. Is the general idea that cycle decks have the highest skill cap and beatdown decks don't? I don't know if cycle decks have the highest skill cap. Beatdown decks, heavier decks require better decision making on balance, but I think certain heavy decks, especially in the middle range, Lava and Golem in particular, they benefit from... What's the best way to put this? The best way to explain the thought process here. I don't think that a fast cycle deck is necessarily higher skilled than some of the decks that are in the middle range, cycle-wise, right? But I do think that that no thought play gets rewarded more in Golem and Lava Hound. There's just a whole lot less going on. Why do you hate Golem but love Ice Golem? Well, 8 elixir of annoying garbage that you just can throw a bunch of stuff behind. 2 elixir of awesome freeziness that is A, super cute, and B, has some technical purposes to it. A lot of pros say NATO is 0 skill. Thoughts? AC, that's a good question. I'd say that if you're ranking something on skill from 10 to 0, I would say that NATO probably falls closer to the 0 side than the 10 side. Let's put it that way. Vincent, thank you very much. I really appreciate the $2 super chat. Thank you. And yeah, go ahead. Throw the likes in there, guys. I do appreciate that for sure. AC in the chat here. Maybe another day. Oh, yeah. AC is going to be playing in day 4 of this competition, by the way. Marco saying, how are you? I'm doing very well. Whoever said NATO is no skill, correct? I would say that NATO is on the lower side of the skill ratio. Let's look at the standings so far. Let's see. Let's take a look at the standings here so far. AirSurfer, Bag, CMC, and Kasim taking their wins in round number 1. Parker versus Kasim took place off stream. That's why you didn't see it. Parker versus Kasim. Kasim taking the win there over Parker. Brighton versus Kasim will be off stream, and so will be Brighton versus Alaa. So we'll be giving you updates on those ones, but that's about it. And here we go. Maybe the marquee matchup of the day. AirSurfer versus CMC. Interesting rematch here of when TSM in 2018 eliminated Cloud9 from playoffs in CRL North America. Has Anaban been in CRL? Yes, briefly. So yeah, 3 matches today off stream. Kasim versus Parker, Brighton versus Kasim, and Brighton versus Alaa. As you can see, Kasim already beat Parker. Wall breakers to the left-hand side. Bomb tower picks up. Yeah, NATO's a free bailout. You make a mistake and NATO can bail you out. Interesting note. I don't know. I think that the game... I have to think about that. But I think that the game is better with NATO in just because it makes the game more varied. But I could be wrong. I gotta think. Let me think about that for a bit. Let's see. Why are some streams off of... why some games off stream? Because of time constraints. That's why. And Hog to the right-hand side for AirSurfer. AirSurfer's just playing a Hog triple spell variant that's different, that's all. Attempted minor prediction there from CMC to the middle. Yeah, Mancer with a good point here is when you do play NATO, you sacrifice a slot for a card that could, a spell that could do direct damage or something else. I don't know, I gotta think about that with NATO. Hog does connect either way. AirSurfer leaking a bit here. 3-3 split for CMC. Log works on the right-hand side. So far, AirSurfer totally in control. Miner going to the back here. Wallbreaker's taken care of up high along with the cannon cart. Robert Daniels, if the live feed on your end is blurry, I think that's because you have the resolution turned down. I'm actually monitoring the live stream on my end, and I have it set to 1080p 60, and it looks pretty clear. So check your personal settings if it looks blurry. Hog into the right-hand side. And big time, no, doesn't connect there. Here we are in sudden death, but right now it looks like AirSurfer's got this one pretty locked up. GG, well played there. AirSurfer takes game number 1 fairly easily. That transition's working weird. It's like, do you see how I'm coming to me before the transition does? Very strange. Gotta check that out. What classic deck is your favorite? Yeah, I don't know. I like the modern decks more. That's just me. Easy win there for AirSurfer. Let's see. Was here for Parker. Don't worry, Nate Johnson. There will be a bunch of Parker matches on today. Let me take a look at our schedule. After this one, we have Bag versus Dread on Lock, Brighton versus Kasim, and then Alaa versus Parker. So we'll be seeing Parker here in this round. So we're going to see 3 Parker matches today, so don't you worry. You'll be seeing some Parker. That's for sure. Yeah, Mance Raider saying, for the free to fix of your mistake, NATO costs 3 elixir, so it's 3 elixir cost fix. Let's see. Your Wi-Fi is so bad, even at 144p, my video still buffers. Ugh, that's brutal. Do I think E-barbs should be nerfed? Yeah, they're. I mean, I don't know. They're kind of annoying. Let's see. Vincent saying comedians either make the best of friends or the worst. Yeah, it's pretty accurate actually. What do you think about Anaban 04 yesterday? I didn't watch yesterday. Mohammed, it depends on the deck you're running. It can be hard to defend. Yeah, okay. Let's see what else. How many trophies do you consider being mid ladder versus and high ladder? Above 7K is where you start to get into like the upper ladder. Let's see. We might get a guest to jump on here for a little bit. Not quite yet, but soon. That'd be fun. That will be fun. I think that upper ladder. I mean, I guess like trophies are. It depends season by season. You're getting into upper ladder above 7K. And as you get into that high 7s, low 8s, that's when you get into high ladder. I would say that mid ladder is like the fives through the sixes. That's my feeling. Lava Hound, the ban from CMChugh. Looking like Balloon here for AirSurfer. And CMChugh, I think, going to E Giant. We'll see. And that's a ton of damage. That's a ton of damage. No, going Graveyard here. All right. I really thought that we moved away from this Graveyard deck a little bit more these days, but nope, it's this Graveyard rather than the Electro Giant. And CMC just getting a little bit outmatched here by AirSurfer. GG, well played there. And trying to come back in this one going to be nearly impossible for CMC. So he'll fall to 1-1 after this one, I believe. Could Anabans Knight be in the CRL? He has been in CRL before. Don't worry, Nolan. We'll have Parker on. Balloon into the left-hand side. Baby Dragon to the right for CMChugh. Miner goes right to the Ice Wiz. And that's a nice NATO there. I think that he stops this Balloon. All right, so now we see if CMChugh can put together anything of a push, but that Giant Skeleton cleans up at the bridge nicely. Balloon into the left-hand lane, Knight in response. Miner goes to the front. And going to need to NATO this Balloon back. Giant Skeleton comes in as well, and a lot of pressure here from AirSurfer. Not even necessary. Going to take the win here pretty easily. 2-0 for AirSurfer. And after an opening match victory for CMC, gets a bit of the rude awakening when he goes up against AirSurfer, who's still completely on point. GG, well played. And there we go. Should Ice Wiz or Tesla get nerfed? I think Ice Wiz is in a pretty decent spot right now. And Tesla's not very popular at the moment. Tesla's very unpopular at the moment. So I don't think either one of those really needs a nerf at the moment. Maybe Tesla, but it's not very popular. So it's kind of like, why are you nerfing a card that no one's really using? Why do you think Ice Wizard nerf? Ice Wizard was nerfed, and then wasn't it nerfed and then like rebuffed so that it would kill skeletons? I think Ice Wizard is in an okay place right now. I don't really mind having defensive decks as long as there's gameplay back and forth. Tony's Vibe saying, I'm stuck at 5,400 trophies as an off-meta deck, but all I see is RG, MK, and Elite Barbs. Mid-ladder is trash. You shouldn't be getting beat by E-Barbs. So that's one thing. There's really, this might sound harsh, there's no reason to be consistently losing to E-Barbs if you're playing on an even leveled playing field. Now, if you're under-leveled and they're over-leveled, I understand that. But in general, E-Barbs, you know, if you get caught out once or twice by them, whatever. But E-Barbs are usually pretty easy to control, especially the slowed-down version of them. I see so many wizards in mid-ladder. Yeah, again, like, the reason why meta decks are meta is typically because they're fairly well balanced, right? They cycle well. They have pieces that perform a lot of different roles. A lot of people's personal decks, their comfort decks, that are off meta, just don't have the pieces that are necessary, right? So like for Wizard, for example, I'm facing it right now. I've just started getting my push started for this season. I'm at 5.4, and I'm seeing a fair bit of Wizard. I'm playing minor wall breakers, and I miner the heck out of Wizards that are behind a push. You can say you think something needs a nerf. I won't put you on timeout for saying that the card needs a nerf. Ice Wiz is certainly popular. Popular doesn't mean that it's OP, though. It just means that it's useful, right? That's the thing about cards is like a card might not be overpowered. It might just be the best card for the meta for a technical reason. And cycling arrows is bag, and that's going to be a decent amount of damage here from the Hogs. Mega Knight comes out high, gets the Hunter. Miner working on the right-hand side. Prince in response. Interesting. Bag has been really, really interesting with his deck choices today. We saw that in the first matchup. We're against Alaa. We're seeing that here as well. And pigs into the right-hand side for Bag. He does take the lead here. This is such an interesting Miner Royal Hogs Prince deck. My guess here is that Bag has really been building these decks based off of opposition research, right? That he's really been focusing on trying to go for matchup rather than just play meta decks. Witch taken care of on the right-hand side. So Dread Unlock getting a little interesting here, too, with a very similar look. Second Mother Witch on the day. Miner goes to the back. That's going to be a lot of damage here. Piggy's still working, and those Barbs having to fight their way back to the Miner. Mega Knight down for a big push here from Dread Unlock on the right-hand side. Still has 3.5 Barbs plus the Mega Knight. Now a Flying Machine as well. Not to mention one Roomba out there in support. Going to be a lot of damage on the right-hand side. Bag cannot control that Mega Knight and now has to find some way to stop these Piggies while that Mega Knight wreaks havoc on that right-hand tower. This could be, no, not going to be tower down, but going to be a whole lot of damage just like that. Dread Unlock in the lead as we go into sudden death overtime. So Bag was having a pretty darn good game, but then that final sequence there just totally turned it the opposite direction. Prince in front, Hunter behind. Fireball works on the Zappies. Miner goes to the back and splits the Barbs up pretty nicely. Lots of damage here. Going to be under, 133. Bag, if Bag can defend here, he gets the win. The question is, can he defend here? Fireball in on the Hunter. Piggy's trying to escape. Zappy's down on defense. I think this is going to be the win here for Bag. Bag does get to his Fireball in time. GG, well played. Bag takes game number 1. Who uses Furnace these days, says David Noriega. Well, apparently Bag in that matchup does. Not sure what he was thinking he was playing against, but so far it really looks like Bag has been focusing on matchup today rather than just playing meta decks that he knows well. Dylan saying, which team are you taking all-time? Which team, Nova or Queso? I mean, let's see. That's an interesting question. I mean, Nova has 3 World Championship visits plus a World Championship, 6 total regional championships, right? 5 or 6? Won all 4 Chinese championships and 1 Eastern championship. So 5 regional championships won for Nova. Plus, if you look at the... I mean, that's such an interesting question, though. It's more of a question of, like, take the All-Stars, right? Take the All-Star lineup for Nova. 6 regional championships? Man, that's crazy. I thought it was 5. Because they won all 4 of CRL China's. Both 2018, both 2019. And then they didn't win the region. Did they win the spring in 2020? I thought or did they win? I thought there was one that they didn't win. I could be wrong. Black Bags on a Sniper. He's a hitman, says Cornelius. Nice work. And guys, we are not going to have any political chat on the stream. So if you do it, I'll delete it, and if you do it again, then I'll time you out. And guys, please, for the mods, please take care of that as well. Let's keep the political talk off the chat, please. Thank you. Game number 2, and it's the... And Bag opens up... I think Bag's going with a little Chen deck. I think Bag's playing some variation of Little Chen. We'll see if he has a Mega Knight in here, or we'll see if a Royal Giant first. And you see Dread Unlock throws out the Royal Giant emote, predicting that it's going to be a Royal Giant. Guys, if you do political chat, you're going to get, first you're going to get muted, then you're going to get banned. Kazubi, this is not the place for political talk. This is a Clash Royale competition. If you want to go talk about politics, go to your social media. But it's not for here. Mirror from Bag. What in the universe? What in the universe is happening here? Bag running Goblin Hut Mirror. I don't know if Adriel's in this tournament. If he is, he would be in the LATAM region. Spears to the left-hand side in a big pile. Yes, if any of you want to campaign for any CRL Pro or any Clash Royale player for the whatchamacallit, for president, you can campaign for Bag for president if you like. That's fine. But no actual politics, guys. I am absolutely fascinated by Bag today. So far, it's working out well for him. Has one match victory and looks like he's going to get a second one. Mega Knight comes out against the pile of Spear Goblins. I typically do not like spawners. And Spawner Mirror I typically hate. I mean, a lot of the fast cycle decks that I play get absolutely shut down by them. But I gotta say that whatever Bag's doing today, it's compelling at the very minimum. And that's going to be the weirdest GG. I thought it was a Little Chen deck, for sure. And Dread Unlock did too. He threw a Royal Giant emote within moments. And instead, Bag pulls out Goblin Barrel, Goblin Hut, Mirror. Yeah, nutty. Absolutely nutty. GG, well played. Absolutely nutty. Bag always makes new decks or playoff meta. Yeah, Bag doing some fun stuff. What's the Little Chen deck? The Little Chen deck, Little Chen played a variation of this at CRL World Finals 2018 for Nova. And the Little Chen deck was Royal Giant Goblin. It was a no big spell Royal Giant Goblin Barrel deck. I think Skarmy was in there as well. Maybe there was a Mega Knight in that deck, in the original Little Chen deck. And then variants of that popped up a lot in CRL during 2019. But like Royal Giant Bait is essentially Little Chen deck with no big spell. It was I think it might have actually been eight actual troops. Man, Bag playing a fun game there. Who's the greatest player of all time, in my opinion? We've had this conversation a lot on the streams in the last few days. I think we're getting very close. It's going to be the greatest player right now. No questions asked. It's Ruben. He's the greatest player right now. Whether he's the greatest of all time is a different discussion. And I think maybe it's a little early to say who's the greatest of all time, given that the game's only been out for 5 years. I think we still have some more room to build that conversation. Let's see. Any other important things from the chat here? And it's very interesting to have our chat is so fast today. No direct damage spell. Yeah, no direct damage spell at all from Yako. I wonder if we could see the Little Chen deck somewhere. Someone would have it. Playing Clash Royale a second ago. I'm back now. Hey, Will, welcome back, Wahid. Very, very cool. 20 HP win for you, Sam. Nice work as well. And guys, if you do want your own information on CRL 2021, there's a link in the chat right now. Of course, it's open to everybody. You watching right now could be in CRL 2021. Top 1,000 ladder finishers make it into each monthly event for CRL. $75,000 on the line for each month of Clash Royale, approximately CRL 2021, about $75,000 a month. And then the overall year-long prize pool, $1.6 million. So go ahead and get your piece of that one. The link right there will take you to the esports.clashroyale.com page with all your CRL 2021 info. Bag's just being overconfident with open qualifiers, offensive. Hey, Bag's doing some fun stuff. Best card of all time, Ice Golem. It's my favorite. It's the best. Ice Golem, number 1. And there you go. Do you think that Messi's better than Lewandowski? Well, he won the Balloon d'Or. I have no opinion on that on that conversation. What do you think about the pros argument whether NATO was low or high skilled? Here's the interesting thing about NATO, right? Considering how often high-level pro players make mistakes with NATO, I don't think it's as low-skilled as they all talk about. So that's the issue, is like NATO is super powerful, very impactful on the meta, no questions asked. But considering how many times in CRL I have been, the missed NATO, the missed pull, the missed that, it's one of the cards that gets misplayed the most, which makes me think that the skill conversation of it might be more complex than just high skill or low skill. You don't need to have a maxed account to be in CRL Hydra Gaming, but you probably need one max deck. If you can get one max deck and play it well enough to make top 1,000, you can be in CRL. You might be able to do it without a max deck. People have done top 1,000 finishes without having with decks that are not fully maxed. I'm pretty sure Bag got a top 1,000 finish with a level 12 account at one point. But yeah, you don't need a full maxed account. You just need one maxed deck. Have I visited Europe? Yes. I lived in Scotland for a year. I've been to Scotland, England, Spain, the Netherlands, France, Italy. I think that's it in Europe. Here we go. Parker versus Alaa. Parker, one of the fanfares. A lot of people here to see him today. Parker got his personal best finish last season. At 17th on the global ladder, personal best 82.94, almost 8.3K. And that's a pretty big-time finish for a guy who had not before reached those heights. Have I been in South America? No. Furthest south that I've gone is Mexico. What makes Ruben so capable of playing so many decks perfectly? Excellent mechanics with all different cards. He's mechanically sound all the way around the game. So Bowler GY freeze for Alaa. We'll see if he does pull a freeze out here soon. You assume the last card is freeze. It could be poison. It's totally possible. Yeah, Ruben's micro is near perfect, says Brandon Skaggs. No question there. Ruben's micro is absolutely perfect. Stephen Young saying everything just went blurry. Well, Stephen Young, as I said before, I'm monitoring the YouTube feed that you're watching from a separate account, and it has not gone blurry for me, so it might be a connection issue on your end. Has Ruben ever played Golem? Oh, God, I hope not, but I'm sure he has. That's going to be a lot on the left-hand side. Baby Dragon, 2 Inferno Dragons, plus Graveyard. And another Baby Dragon stacked in from Alaa on the left. There's a whole lot going on there. Musketeer trying to work against it. And there comes the freeze. Inferno Dragon, though, not connecting on tower. And a lot of damage on the right-hand side for Alaa. Parker in a whole lot of trouble here. Gets out of it. Takes a lot of damage, but gets out of it with a chance. But Alaa not going to give any opportunity. They're going to line up in that same right-hand lane. Weak side push for Alaa. $529 remaining on the right-hand side. Now 481 with that little bit of tornado damage. Graveyard in. And the freeze comes in as well. Baby Dragon does get splash on tower. That's going to be a GG. Well played. Alaa takes game number 1. Achi, mashlamcha. Aliatia. Let's see. Makore. Let's see. New Parker was going to run GY Barbs. Well, he did run GY Barbs. I thought everyone was saying Jupiter King was the next go. Didn't really impress me during CRL. Yeah, Jupiter King is again. Jupiter King is interesting because he has the ability to play S tier, but I think that right now that he's just under that. I think I honestly put him in A tier right now for Jupiter King, just because he performs so well during the regular season, and then it seems that the more the pressure mounts, maybe the skill set drops down a tiny little bit. So, you know, that might be a controversial statement, but I don't put Jupiter King up at the top yet. But of course, we'll see what he does in 2021. Ruben was played a knight one time and took some tower damage to a flying machine. Washed. Yeah, that's how I view it as well. Yeah, Steven, guys, you have control of your own resolution here, by the way. Let me go ahead and see. Oh, guess we're going right back in. Game number 2. Should I wait to do CRL until I get a max deck? Well, you don't wait. You're in CRL right now, Hydra Gaming. Here's the rules for it right here. There's a link to it. You're in CRL. Just play ladder. That's it. If you play ladder, you're doing CRL. Doing CRL, as you want to put it that way. Rich knows Katsat Hebrew. Ken, lo zakharti kol avrich lemadati. Anishma. Let's see. Lava Night. Is it going to be Lava Night Witch? Certainly feels like it to the right-hand side. Alaa looking like he's going back to the same thing. Yep, looks like Alaa going back to the same game plan as number 1. First minute and 10 seconds away. And Parker comes out with no damage. Yeah, Mance Raider with a very good point there. How many people who think they're not in top 1,000 because they don't have a max deck? I can tell you right now, guys, I have many decks max, and I will never break 7K. So, you know, you get your hand on a max deck and you go, I'm about to be amazing. And then you realize, oh no, I'm still not that good at Clash Royale. I don't know how to say Alaa. I don't know how am I supposed to be pronouncing A-L-A-A. La. That's how I would do it. Lava Hound sets up for Parker on the right-hand side. Inferno Dragon staying alive to get that Lava Hound all the way burned out. If someone has a better pronunciation for A-L-A-A than Alaa, let me know. Graham saying AirSurfer is S tier if he's in the zone. Yeah, I would say that that's true for both AirSurfer and Jupiter King. They're both S tier players when they're playing S tier. I probably would put, it's hard to put a ranking on both those two guys comparatively. A lot of damage to the bowler on the right-hand side. Fireball comes in, gets both the Inferno Dragon and the Ice Wiz, plus tower damage. Miner goes in, gets the Ice Wiz off the board. Valk to the back. Not a good read there by Alaa. No, because it's single A then double A. So it wouldn't be Alaa, would it? Alaa. Double A is usually ah sound. Another lava push into the right-hand side. And that miner is going to be held on to by the Valk. 10-15 to 13-48. Here we go. Triple Elixir on its way, and Alaa goes to the left-hand side. And everyone's having their own Different debates on how to pronounce Alaa. Alaa. Getting on the left-hand side. Alaa. Alaa. Yeah, I have no idea, guys. It looks like Alaa would be the way to pronounce it, but Alaa. If me pronouncing it Alaa is upsetting anybody. Miner to the left-hand side. Gets NATO to King Tower, and that should be enough to get the win here for Alaa. One more poison needed on offense here. Poison in, and that's going to be a Queen 2-0. GG, well played. 2-0. And Parker falls to 0-2 overall in the tournament. And there you have it. Rich, when did you first start playing CR? I should be getting my 5-year badge pretty soon. I wasn't playing during pre-launch, but as soon as it went global, I got it pretty quickly after that. So I should be getting my 5-year badge pretty soon. I have my 4-year badge, and I got it a while back, so it'll happen at some point. Now the matchup I'm waiting for, AirSurfer versus Bag. Wonder what Bag's going to pull out this time. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. All right, AirSurfer versus Bag is next. Will be fun, that's for sure. Let's see. Rich, we know you talk about with Alaa, just say as you like. Yeah, I don't want anyone to be upset about the pronunciation there. How to get Ruben-like mechanics. Play and study. Play and study. Right? Here's the thing. Everyone says, how do I do... This is a really interesting way to say this. You ever heard the phrase, like, when someone's... If you have to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it? Right? For luxury goods. Like, if you have to ask how much this car costs, you can't afford the car. That's one of those interesting things where people go like, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? If you have to ask, I don't know if it sounds so negative, but it's not. If you have to ask, it says it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think that Ruben had to ask, right? Ruben studied and learned mechanics, studied and learned matchups, studied and learned and practiced interactions. And he's also a Ruben, Morton, Surgical Goblin, Moogie. You're talking rare talent there, right? So there's not like some deck that's the magic bullet, because those guys can play everything. There's not some specific thing they did to get better. They just got better. But a great way to get better is to learn interactions. Study those interactions. Make sure you, one difference, but one that separates a lot of the top tier talent from the good talent is knowledge of the entire game from top to bottom, of placements from top to bottom. Almost every time I see a guy like Ruben play, or a guy like Moogie play, or a guy like Morton play, almost every time I see them play, I see something new. I see a placement, an interaction I hadn't expected beforehand. So that's pretty much it. Testface saying, so you're basically saying if someone asks how to get as good as a pro, you don't got it. Maybe that's my response there, Testface. Grind. And Mansurator says it's hard to be realistic without sounding negative or condescending. And yeah, I'm not trying to be condescending or negative, but it's one of those things where if you have the skill to be at that level, you'll get to that level whether I give you advice or not, right? Me, as the caster for CRL, telling you, hey, this is what you do, I'm not the guy to ask, first of all. Let's be clear on that one. And number two, if you have that skill, you got it, and no one else has any real effect on that. Now, are there some players who've stepped up their game with some help? Javi Catorze is a great example. Someone asked about him earlier. Javi was an okay player in SLO, and then worked really hard with EK and Allen with his time at Vivo Keyed, and turned into an absolute menace, one of the top competitive players in the history of CRL. One of the, and the numbers don't lie there, right? But I don't know what he did with those coaches to get there, and how much of it was training on mentality, was focusing his training, things like that. So that's also, there's a part there as well. Tony's Vibes saying training grounds could be improved by allowing to create a deck to play against. Tony's Vibes, that's a great point. The one issue there is would the computer play it with any sort of, like, common sense? Let's see. Let's go take a look at the chat here for a moment. Game is like animated chess. Yeah, this is as close to Wizard's chess as anything I ever got. Let's see. You are gonna get. Let's just go ahead and. Yeah, we'll start there. It's a rare talent to be very good at face it. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Yeah, there's like, let's put it this way, right? You talk about the top tier players. You have other pros who work really hard and can't hit that level. But yeah, I guess in my opinion, if you got it, you got it. And practice will get you there. But some people just don't got it. That's a big difference. What's my personal best? 63-23. So I'm certainly not the person to ask on how to get better. Let's put it that way. If there were a secret to get better, I would be better than I am. Let's start there. Have you ever beaten Trainer Cheddar? I never tried to play Trainer Cheddar, actually. Is Joshua is AC in the chat here? I didn't see him. I know he's there. Oh, hey Rich. Oh, you're there now. Oh yeah, here we go. Hold on one second, folks. Let's get this going here. Uno momento, por favor. Luckily here we're waiting for our next game, which is pretty cool. Can you change the trainers? I don't believe so. And give me 1 second here, folks. Luckily we are in between players, or in between games. And let's see if this works. If you got it, you got it. Rich 2020. Yeah, well, it's 2021, but I get you. I certainly get you. Yes, I can. And we're going to go ahead and welcome to the stream. Guys, we have a co-caster now for a little bit. On Voice, one of your favorites, one of my favorites. The only ever CRL North American champion alongside his teammates. Also a CRL Western champion, also a World Cyber Games champion. Please welcome my friend and yours, Joshua Crap Sharon, to the stream. What's up, dude? Good. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Very excited to have. I saw that you've been jumping into the chat here and there, kind of keeping an eye, I guess, on your competition potentially after in our next round.
Yep. I scouting everybody, making sure that I know what they're gonna play. I've got Parker down. I know exactly what he's gonna be running.
All right, what's Parker gonna be running?
Probably Lava.
Probably Lava. Okay.
I feel really good about that. Especially since he said on Twitter, like, I'm not practicing at all, I'm just running Lava. And I've seen him use Lava as well.
That'll certainly give you that impression. Oh, let me go ahead, and I just realized that I need to send you the feed here. Give me one moment, so that you can be a little bit more on pace with me as we jump into our matches. And speaking of our matches, here we are with AirSurfer and Bag. What do you think of the madness that we've seen from Bag so far today?
I have not seen any of it, so I can't comment. Is it Dex? If it's Dex, it's not even madness for him.
The decks are crazy. He's 2-0. He's 2-0 so far. The most recent deck that he ran was Goblin Barrel, Goblin Hut Mirror.
Yeah, if it's anybody else but Bag, like, I appreciate Bag a lot when it comes to this game because, like, that dude will run anything. It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, sometimes the concoctions do get a little bit, like, overwhelmingly crazy, but it doesn't surprise me at all to hear that he's been running that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that's the way he tends to roll, and here we go against AirSurfer. And again, it's P.E.K.K.A. Graveyard Witch Minor Fire Spirits. So, I mean, there are times when I'm like, hey, I think I'm really starting to understand this game, and then I see things like this, and I go, okay, well, I guess let's start all the way over.
Yeah. Yep, that's the only thing I can do is just agree when it comes to something like that.
So, I know this is kind of a difficult matchup to evaluate. 6 Loon versus P.E.K.K.A. Graveyard Minor Fire Spirits. Which, I can't forget which. I have to say all the cards, basically, for how nutty this is. Is there any ability to evaluate this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, I guess, focus on the win conditions. Really, he only has Hunter, and sort of Fire Spirits. I would say Fire Spirits counter it better than Witch, when it comes to defending the Loon. So if you ever see Bag, like, cycle the Hunter poorly, we're gonna see kind of a free win coming out of AirSurfer. I just don't see that happening out of WoW. I just can't believe he's running Miner Graveyard. This is just such an odd deck.
Here we go, Miner to the right-hand side, final 30 seconds. Graveyard getting a lot of damage on the right. Snowball has to come out, and that's some good poison value in that right-hand lane.
Yeah, I think if Bag plays this well, he should have a decent matchup. So we could definitely see him run away with this and just take the win pretty easily.
And I'm gonna tweet out right now to let everyone know that you've joined the cast for this one. So all the legion of Crap fans come out and jump on in. So far, lead right now for Bag. So here's the thing: is like you look from a matchup perspective and you look at this and you go, yeah, how does like it's difficult. I guess the poison helps significantly. Or it's difficult for Bag to defend here, especially against the Balloon. And, of course, the 6-man good for working against the P.E.K.K.A. But is part of the difficulty from AirSurfer's standpoint just you've never played this matchup, so trying to figure out like what your sequence is can be challenging?
Yeah, that's always going to be one of the more difficult ones when you go against these kind of decks. For players like him, he adjusts really well, so it's not going to be like anything crazy, but yeah, that's probably the most difficult part about it.
986 to 1066. This Balloon should connect on the left-hand side, and it does. Bag going to be in a lot of trouble here. Death damage comes in. Snowball on top of it. Arrows behind. That's a GG. Well played. Bag goes to the roulette table one too many times, and this time does not work out for him.
You know, I actually don't like that. Okay, this is, you know, it's not... I don't have to be like insanely smart to say this, but like I don't think that's a great deck selection when it comes to playing against AirSurfer. I think he runs like too many quick cycle, too many like outplay decks, and so you shouldn't be using heavy slow cycle wild decks against him. I think that's always going to be a mistake.
Yeah, we saw that not work out very well. That P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A. certainly an interesting choice in a situation like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like P.E.K.K.A. If you're using P.E.K.K.A. in your deck, you're probably making a mistake constructing it.
Shia Cone saying Javi is more exciting to watch, but Ruben wins effortlessly, so he's more reliable. And that might be a good way to put it. The debate of the question of who's the best comes up on these streams about 5,000 times a day, and the answer doesn't really change much at all.
But it's so fun to talk about it. So even though, because that's a question I get asked all the time, like I can go on and on talking about just how solid certain players are.
Here we go. Game number 2, AirSurfer and Bag currently both 2-0, so this is a matchup to see who can take control of the group. And Royal recruits Royal Giant. And that's a lot of damage on the right-hand side for Bag early on.
Oh, Rich, where are you at right now?
I am at 208, 207, 6, 5. Wall breakers connect. 4, 3, 2,
Perfect.
1, 0. There we go. And that's a ton of damage in the right-hand lane. Yeah, guys, as you guys all know, AC just joined. Didn't have a chance to sync our feeds earlier, but now I believe we're all nice and evened up. 1174 to 1080 as a minute 45 passes right there on time remaining in our regulation period. Hey, Rich, when do you think do you know when the next dual style tournament will be? I don't know when the next dual style specific tournament will be, but of course, CRL 2021, all duels, which will be fun. Recruits on the left-hand side as an escort for the cannon cart. And minions supporting on the right-hand side. Cannon cart meets cannon cart on the left. No connection there for Bag.
So you have to. I was gonna say it has to be Fireball for Bag's last card, but it also could easily be Lightning or something like that.
Why would you say Fireball in Bag's last card as opposed to Lightning?
Well, because it just makes sense. He has so many, like, he needs the quicker cycle, considering he has so many heavy elixir cards. But with Bag, he also loves doing that. Just having, just straight up, like, a lot of Bag's decks get split up into two different ways, like, two different sections. So he has, like, really, really heavy decks where he doesn't need to cycle to the next thing because he has a second set of responses to a certain, like, to whatever deck it's going to be going against.
Meyer to the left-hand side to work on the cannon cart. Cannon cart is connecting. Bag with the lead for the moment, but a precarious one. And look at that. Tower on the left-hand side down to 70. Fireball will finish it off. AirSurfer has to make a move and make a move right now if he's not going to lose this one. And looks like that's going to be a GG. We're going to game number 3.
Yeah, well played. I really like the Fireball as the last card. That's a good play by Bag.
And a question from Jonathan Stromberg in the chat. Some people already answered it, but wanted to get your opinion on it. Why is P.E.K.K.A. So weak in the meta right now?
Yeah, it's just like, it just doesn't do a great job of anything. There's too many recruits. There are, like, every single meta deck is kind of, it's not even constructed to beat it, but it still just easily beats it. Lava is really powerful right now, and it's gonna beat it. RG cycles too fast, so it's gonna, do well against it. And then Minor Wall Breakers is one of the most, like, overwhelmingly strong decks in the meta, and that just outcycles it like crazy.
Yeah, difficult times for Mama P.E.K.K.A. It's interesting that when Fisherman first got really popular, P.E.K.K.A. Fisherman was a combination. We even profiled on CRL at one point. It was so popular. But then when the recruits got rebuffed, it's sort of Fisherman. Whenever Fisherman's popular now, recruits are popular, and then the whole thing turns into an absolute nightmare for Big Mama P.E.K.K.A. Yoshi Jr. asking in the chat wants to know which player are you most worried, or do you find your most difficult matchup for in your group?
I need to make sure I know who's in my group again.
I can tell you right now who's in your group. Group D, which is playing in 2 days. You, CRS, Hazard, Sandalia, Rob, J Skippy, the Juicy One, and Cheesecake.
I think the only game that you could say I'm worried for is CR Sucks, because for the past year and a half, I've held it over his head that in theory I'm the reason he made it to CRL, even though we both know that it's not, and so we always just mess with each other. The day we lost to Pain, he sent me a message 2 minutes after and was just clowning me for losing. And so there's a lot of on the line when it comes to that game.
That's actually my favorite kind of friend. The friend who sends you the "oh, I'm so sorry" message afterwards. I don't like as much. The friend who immediately starts razzing you for it. That's the one I prefer.
Yeah. But it was rough after we lost to Pain, and then the first message I see was you guys didn't play very well. Yeah, we played poorly enough to lose. You're right.
Jonathan Stromberg with the $5 dono. Thank you so much, man, for and I'm glad I was able to answer your questions, and thank you for your support, Jonathan, as always. Hope you're enjoying this, even though we're being forced to watch Golem be played. What are your thoughts? There's been a lot of Golem discussion today, AC, on, I might have gone off on Golem a little bit earlier today. How do you feel about the big pile of rocks?
I have a lot of unpopular opinions, but I would say my most unpopular opinion is when it comes to Golem. I find it very skillful. I hate that everybody, just...
And there we go, guys. I just muted AC into the stream for violations of my terms of service, which is calling Golem skillful. I'm going to let him back in now, but I had to cut a mic for something as offensive as that happening in the chat. Welcome back to the chat here, Josh. I hope you learned your lesson.
It's just Okay. All right, I take it back. I'm just glad we had the NATO discussion, and it seemed like a decent amount of people agreed with me. So I'll take one win. I won't, you know, abuse my luck today.
One dub on the day. I'm with it. Pigs to the right-hand side. This could be impactful, and it will be. Bomber comes out a little bit too late, and that's going to be tower down on the right-hand lane. Bag needs to do a lot here with Golem GY to win this one. Graveyard in. Can he get anything down to get the skeletons on tower? And the Barb Barrel behind probably makes it a little bit too difficult. Gets close, not quite there. GG, well played. AirSurfer moves to 3-0 and takes firm control of Group B.
That does not surprise me. I think, has AirSurfer played CMC yet?
AirSurfer CMC was the second matchup, and AirSurfer won that one.
Okay.
So that's actually a really. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I would be pretty shocked if AirSurfer loses more than one game in this bracket. I think right now he's playing really well. He we'll be on calls and then he'll just hop off to practice. Like if we're playing Rocket League or something, he's still a professional even when like no one's looking. I think he's just an outstanding player.
And speaking of outstanding, there you go. Currently 3-0, 86% win rate overall in games. Bag drops to 2-1. Currently still in second place with no one close at the moment. Kasim, though, will have a chance to take control of that second place spot here in his next matchup. CMC 1-1, Brighton 0-1, Parker DeBoss 0-2, and Dread Unlock also 0-2 at the moment. And our next matchup here is going to be Kasim versus CMC. So two interesting conversations here for this one. And the first one, probably the biggest story of the day, no real questions in my opinion, the return of CMChugh to competitive Clash Royale. First of all, Josh, did you ever expect to see that? And what are your thoughts on him on him getting involved in this competition?
Look, I'm not gonna be like super excited about it. He's actually done this once before when he entered a Bren Chong tournament. I think he went I don't think he won a set when he did that, so already he's doing a lot better. Which you have to look at and say, you know, that's pretty impressive. It means he's actually taking it pretty seriously, and you know he's trying to get ready for it. If he participates in CRL, that's when I'll say like, wow, that's awesome that he's back into the game. When it comes to just Bren Chong tournaments, because you know the prize pool is large enough for it to be obviously worth your time, I can't really look at it and say I'm super excited for him to be here at the moment.
All right, interesting response. A lot of people here are excited, but we'll learn a lot over the course of today and their part two. And yeah, I guess I called the Zappies Sparkies at some point. Well, when you cast literally thousands of Clash Royale matches, including over the course of the last 10 days now, I've cast 30 hours plus of Clash Royale. You're going to misspeak every once in a while.
Wow. That is a lot of Clash.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're getting to the point here, I don't know for sure, where between CRL and then all of these, like the Bren Chong Cup, all these different, except for maybe Revel, it's certainly in English. I think I'm getting close to the point where I have cast more, it's like professional level matches than anybody.
Wow. That's insane.
We have to be pretty close, in English in particular. We have to be pretty close to that between CRL, between all these different Bren Chong Cup, CWA Cup, AMG Cup, all that different stuff. There might be someone else out there who's cast more professional level Clash Royale than I have in English, but it's certainly very close if that's even the case.
Mm-hmm.
Zappies are called the Roombas. No question, says Tesfaye Worku. Yep, that's actually true, and I am sorry for not calling them the Roombas earlier. My apologies.
This is just such a brutal matchup. This is one of those matchups where you can't really look at anything when it comes to this because it's just like a wash. He just cycles so quickly. It just gets damaged no matter like however he wants. He can cycle log for free because then he can just activate King Tower. This is a brutal matchup to watch.
You're talking about in favor of Kasim.
Yes. Yeah.
Just want to clarify that in case anyone was confused. Log in, gets rid of the spears, and CMChugh tries to go a little bit deep with that one. Does not fool Kasim. And is CMC, oh, was he, maybe he was voted in as a, wasn't invited, he was voted into the tournament? I'm not entirely sure.
That would make sense. I could see that being the case.
760 on the right-hand side, Princess right at the bridge. Log takes care of business, Knight down, Knight in response. Final minute 48, sudden death overtime. So far, Kasim winning the lead, sets up Mortar on the right-hand side. Interesting Mortar cycle variant here out of Kasim, going with the Electro Spirit and the Firecracker version.
Yeah, I wonder what made him lean towards the Electro Spirit for this. What was Lapo's version? Was just Skelly's instead, correct?
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I think that's right. You know, I was running this earlier this season, but I don't remember what I was. But I wasn't running this variant. I was running the more classic variant.
I see it.
Here we go into triple elixir on its way. King Tower activation gets in. The EQ on the right-hand side, and that won't be much more needed to get this one done. Log will finish it off. Kasim takes game number 1 here. Add a win over CMC to the 8.1K player's resume. So there you go. Game number 1 in the books. Easy win for him there. And, yeah, we're getting a lot of debate whether I'm the Michael Buffer or the Bruce Buffer. Very interesting. Bruce Buffer's, I'm not an announcer, though. I might be more of like the, you know, the Mike Goldberg or maybe even the Mauro Ronaldo of Clash Royale. I'd take that, the Mauro Ronaldo maybe. But yeah, I'm not saying welcome to the K. Like, I'm not doing the whole ladies and gentlemen, that whole thing.
Ooh. I'm not saying you shouldn't start doing that though.
Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should be doing it. Joshua, yeah, Josh is AC, guys. That's what I'm talking about. In voice with us today, Joshua Crap Sharon. Again, CRL NA champion, CRL West champion, World Cyber Games champion, and decent basketball player, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Better at tennis.
Better at tennis.
Yeah.
All right.
I could go on and on about, you know, how if I didn't blow up my back senior year, I could have been something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like actually though, I did like blow up my back, and I could only play like 1 week of regular season, and then I played in playoffs, and our team just got murdered like first round of playoffs.
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, it was rough. I didn't have a love for the game anymore at that point, so I got over it quickly. I
know a guy from Sacramento who made the Pro Tour. I think his best rank was like 186 or something.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's pretty darn cool. Hello, Rey Mysterio. Welcome.
I'm not the could have known too.
Say what?
I said you almost could have known too.
Yeah, almost could have known too. You could have done it. Well, if you gone pro in tennis, we probably never would have met. So thank God that your back got hurt, because otherwise, your Clash Royale career probably would have gone nowhere. You'd have been too busy playing tennis.
Yeah.
Here we
Thank
go.
God.
Yeah. The small miracles, right? Minor wall breakers for CMC, and now this is getting a little more central meta in this one. Royal Giant for Kasim, who I mentioned before is an 8.1K player, 8109. His personal best on ladder. Top finish, 29th. So anytime you get a double-digit finish on ladder, that's fairly impressive.
Yeah, that's something you can write home about for sure.
And then explain to everyone at home what ladder is. Knight picks up the Hunter on the inside. Royal Giant sets it to the right-hand lane. Here we go into double elixir time. So far, it is CMC with the lead. Cycles Log in front of the Knight. And these wall breakers, do they get past? No, the Log comes out to support those bats. 1680 on the left-hand lane for Kasim as his Royal Giant makes it past the bridge.
CMC's been playing this fairly well until that last Hunter. And this is going to snowball quickly. I mean, the thing about this deck, which is why I love this deck choice from Yama, is that, like, if they don't play it perfectly, it is just so easy to overwhelm and just easily win just by stacking RGs. Like, you really can't do anything to it if you don't know exactly how to play every single matchup. I think this is a great deck choice, and as we get into, like, overtime, with the RGs on opposite lanes, this is just going to be so difficult for him to defend.
This is on the quicker cycle end of Royal Giant decks right now, with, you know, gets all the way around on only 7 elixir. Fairly fast variant. Royal Giant gets connection on the right-hand side. Second shot comes in, 737 to the right, 618 to the left. Kasim in pretty good control here. And RG sets up on the left-hand side. Yeah, I don't know if I have personally, I mean, I probably have because I've cast so many matches I forget about it now. But I don't know, I can't remember seeing this Bats Electro Spirit version of Royal Giant.
I know I've seen it, but I don't know, it really never gets played in comp for sure, because I've only seen it a few times on ladder.
And a nice 2-0 win here for Kasim. In this one, GG, well played. And there you go. Kasim is going to go ahead and move, I believe, to 2-0 after his win over Parker as well. We'll get some standings, I think, here in just a couple of minutes. We have one more match in round 2 of our Group B play. Alaa versus Parker. We'll be back with that one here pretty soon. Mikey with the $7 Canadian. Thank you very much. Shia Cohen. I'm more Jewish than him, brother. All right. Weird to compare your level of Jewish. I don't know. My dad was a Federation president. I went to a Jewish day school as a kid. I've been to Israel 4 times. Went to Jewish summer camp from the age of 9 and worked through it until I was a young adult.
Let's go, Rich. Talk that talk.
Yeah, you wanna pull out who's got better Jew credentials? It's hard to beat mine. It's pretty difficult to beat mine. You speak Yiddish and Hebrew fluently. Yiddish? How old are you that you speak Yiddish frequently? Is someone's bubby watching Clash Royale today? You know what? I knew that my audience trended a little older than the average for CR, but someone speaking Yiddish, ultra Orthodox who knows the whole Tanakh. Oh, nice work, Shia Cohen. You know what? I did not know we had many Hasidic Jews who were fans of Clash Royale, but cool. Welcome to the Mishpacha. Cashman saying he's never seen you laugh. That's a strange one. Cashman's never seen me laugh. That's a weird one to put it. Can you say I love you in German? If I knew it, I would. Why not on Twitch? For a wide variety of reasons, including but not limited to ex-Hasidic. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Yiddish, yeah. Yiddish is a combination, if you don't know, typically of German and German and Hebrew, but there's various Yiddish variants. There's Russian Hebrew variants. There's some other interesting ones as well. Never would have guessed that I'm Jewish. Yeah, from 6 foot tall, blonde hair, blue eyed. You never would have guessed I'm Jewish. Shocker there. But yeah, there you go. Well, a lot of ish going on there. He's the one who said it, not me. Yeah, I don't know who says I haven't seen me laugh before. Interesting enough for you, AC, the friend of mine who made the tennis tour, Sam Warburg, also Jewish.
Ah.
Yeah. Well done. If there are any Jewish players in the chat, actually, I'm doing an event tonight with Lost Tribe Esports, which is an esports organization that focuses on, it's sort of like on Jewish youth engagement. So I'm doing a Clash Royale event for Lost Tribe Esports tonight. I tweeted about it on my Twitter account, and if there's any young Jewish players here who want to know more about Lost Tribe, let me know. Dread unlock against Parker in our last match of round 2. I believe that they are both still looking for their first match win, so someone here is going to end up 1-2. Someone's going to end up 0-3. Greg's in the chat. Wait a second. I don't know if you know about this at all, AC, but the best name in all of Clash Royale qualified through my open tournament, for my open qualifier for this, Greg, just straight up Greg, is in Group C tomorrow, and he's asking you, what is the best way to snipe boss tomorrow?
Best way to snipe boss. Runs a lot of RG. I don't know. If you actually want to know, Greg, you can hit me up in DMs and I can try and help you out with that.
Well, there you go. Slide into AC's DMs later. And Parker running the same. This is the Goblin Barrel, Goblin Hut mirror deck that we saw Bag run earlier.
And Bag won with it, correct?
Yes, Bag did win with it.
I think this should be a phenomenal matchup for him. I don't know if he, like, why he came to this deck, but doing Ultra Cycle with Zappies and Valk against Graveyard Double Prince, like, this is exactly what he's looking for when you're trying to get matchups.
Yeah, not the little Chen deck here. JD Lopez.
I don't know what it is about this pressure from Parker, but like Dread has now missed 2 separate Goblin Barrels, allowing like 250, 300 damage from the Goblins. So I don't know if he's getting a little nervous with all the stacked Goblin Huts, but it's kind of interesting to see someone miss it twice in a row.
Yeah, it does get a little interesting there. Here we go. No snowball in response. There goes the Bar Barrel. Maybe just misreading it here. Maybe nerves for Dreadlock as well. The arena should be fairly clean, as someone has pointed out. There's Roombas on both sides. Sakina Fuzzby, because why is the Skeleton Army level 10? It's not the Skeleton Army Sakina Fuzzby mirror when it gets played at max, or when mirror gets played at max or tournament level. It always adds 1 extra level to the card. So Skarmy costs 3. When Parker plays mirror for Skarmy, it comes out costing him 4 elixir, but also comes out 1 level higher.
I really like what Parker did right there. He did give a little bit too much poison value probably. But as soon as the poison was out of cycle, he immediately placed Goblin Hut, then Goblin Hut Mirror. I think that was a really smart play from him. I don't even know if he was trying to bait it out or not, but he's playing it exactly like he should.
That's a lot of Spear Goblins behind that Valkyrie. But the stack not doing as much maybe as he would have hoped. God Barrel comes in, goes all the way to the back, does get 1 shot, 12-11 on the right-hand side to 17-04. Going to be very difficult for Dread to get anything through to tank for a graveyard, and then there are so many options to help clean up the graveyard on Parker's side. Poison down to work on the Zappies. Hunter in the back. Final 40 seconds here. What does Dread Unlock need to do to get back in this one here, AC?
I mean, he's been defending the Goblin Barrels really well. With Triple Elixir, he can get really, really aggressive and try and make a play through that. But if Parker's playing his Hunters correctly, it's going to be near impossible for him to come back. He just needs to hope to get incredible RNG, and then for Parker to make a mistake.
And look at the pressure there. The mirrored Goblin Barrel plus Fireball in, plus now 5 Zappies working on defense. Goblin Barrel cycle one more time. Graveyard trying to get in. Hunter, though, will defend. Maybe the final 5 seconds here. Parker going to go ahead and take game number 1 off of Dread Unlock.
Yeah, good deck choice. I think Parker did a little too many like trickster Goblin Barrels, but at the end he started just cleaning that up and just putting it on the tower. So really good adjustment from him, and really good win overall.
And we'll be keeping an eye on the standings we get into. Rich, if you were a green shirt, would we just see a floating head? Sort of, because you have to match the same color of green for that to work. And this is a really interesting color green. But if I wore the correct color green shirt and calibrated everything correctly, then yes, I could just be a floating head here, which, wouldn't be boring, I guess. I could also make it I could also try to crop my head so it just floats weirdly as well. I'm just tuning in now. Who's on Voice with Rich? That would be, oh, that's the wrong button. That would be AC. Ah, crap, is on chat with me here as well. Super Bassy, as usual, great streamers. Thank you very much. Rupin, religious Jewish kid, learning Gemara and Talmud every day. And, hey, glad you're enjoying it. Keep up the good work. My baby boy Slaton started preschool today. This is his first day of preschool. It's a local Jewish preschool here in Austin. Very excited for him. Going to be very cool. Who's the kid in the middle of the thumbnail? That's not just some kid. That's one of the most creative deck pickers here in the tournament, Bag. And here we go, jumping into our next game. Dread versus Parker.
For the level of success that he has with those kind of things, I feel like is there anybody who even comes close to him, really?
For as sort of creative deck play from as far as Bag goes, you mean?
Yeah, and at least even limited success. I feel like not only does he have good success, he's using those kind of decks, but I feel like no one else does that at all.
I'm trying to think about that. And it's an interesting Electro Giant deck here from Dread, and Parker going with Mirror's ban. The Mirror ban is hilarious from Dread Unlock, by the way. We've actually seen Mirror ban before in this tournament, but that was typically for more of like a troll purposes.
Oh, this is the Sparky Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mega Minion. I forgot the last card. Oh yeah, he was deck. I really don't like this deck at all. I feel like it struggles against basically anything, and he's going against a ton of cycle cards, and so if he gets some value nados, he can possibly steal a win, but this is going to be probably not what he's looking for in terms of matchup.
Heal Spirit helps out against the Valkyrie, but the Valk is still up to the task here. Sparky will not connect on the right-hand side. So spending 7 Elixir against 4 and getting nothing from it there is Dread on the right-hand lane. Parker just setting up one more time with the Goblin Hut to the left-hand lane.
But, at least if you're Dread Unlock, at least you don't have to worry about a second one coming down.
That's true. That's a very good point here. And that's with the highly strategic Mirror ban that he came out with.
It's just too funny.
One Zappy on the left-hand side will get that Sparky caught in a total stun lock here as the Dark Goblin and Spears support. That mini P.E.K.K.A. seems overly aggressive out of Parker here, or out of Dread Unlock.
Yeah, he's just not going to be able to get a lot of value with it. He can go opposite lane, and he can force out zaps, so that way he can just scar me on top. I don't know. His defense was solid enough where it didn't get affected. Again, I feel like Parker is trying to do the Trickster barrels a little too often. Maybe needing to recognize what's in cycle a little bit better. Because if he puts that on the corner tile to the outside, then possibly he messes up a King Tower activation. At the very least, he would have got more damage from it.
So far, though, these Electro Giants not getting anywhere near the tower, so Parker has this one locked down for the moment. Zappy's now behind the Valkyrie on the right-hand side. Hunter works on the left-hand lane. Gonna have to control this Sparky, and that's a decent use of the Skarmy here. Do you see any way for Dread to break through here, AC?
It depends what Parker's last card is, but I really don't see that happening. There's the possibility that he puts the Sparky in the back, and then, maybe he does Electro. It either needs to be 2 Sparkies on the field or 2 Electro Giants on the field at the same time. Otherwise, there's no shot of it happening.
Connection on the right-hand side. Sparky gets the Hunter, maybe a little bit loose with that one. Was Parker, and now Sparky sets up on the right-hand lane. This is going to be the game here for Dread. Final 54 seconds. We are in triple elixir. And now he's starting to stack up stuff in front of the Sparky. Mini P.E.K.K.A and Electro Giant both in front. As that Dark Goblin goes hard on the left. Go ahead, AC.
I really like that Dark Goblin. He needed to pressure a lot, and he got exactly what he was looking for. Got some damage. And so now he only needs like 1 or 2 Goblin Barrel connections to win it.
Fireball gets in. Goblin Barrel does not connect. Sparky still alive. Hunter will stop the Sparky at the bridge. Fireball will be enough. And now no Fireball needed, but again, that's the only direct damage. And that's going to be a GG. Well played. Parker gets on the winner's circle. Moves up to 1 and 2, and Dread falls now down to 0 and 3 on his opening day.
Well, I mean, if you're going to wear a Minnesota Timberwolves jersey and support, like, he's playing exactly like his favorite basketball team right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Harsh evaluation there from the CR Pro, but you get it. Let's see. Adam Doctor asking to ask you about Expo. What variation, if any, do you like right now?
For Expo?
Yes.
I guess 3.0 wouldn't be all that bad. I don't know. I just don't like messing with Expo. I'm not a huge fan of running decks that you can just get like ultra hard counters and then it's impossible to get away from it. So I tend to avoid using it.
Yeah, it's not great. I did lose a game to Icepo the other day and wanted to throw my phone against the wall. So yeah, it's not in the greatest place right now. What about Loon Cycle? I like Loon Cycle right now. I'm not playing it a bunch. I'm playing Minor Wall Breakers at the moment, trying to learn it, getting better with it finally. But Loon Cycle seems like it's in a moderate place at the moment. Let's see. No, I'm not going to... That's a lot of spam there. So we're going to go ahead and time that out because it's too much spam. E-Giant doesn't need Zapper, he just needs fast killing support troops. Here we go into our next matchup, AirSurfer and Kasim. And hey, mods, how about you mod next time? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Shout out to the mods for being here. Baby Dragon to the left-hand side here for Kasim. And Mirror has to remain undefeated. Yep, I agree with you. So far, Mirror is 2-0 on the day.
Wow.
Oddly enough, yeah.
Well, is it 2-0 in the entire qualifiers? Are there anybody, like, is anybody using it besides the Americans?
I have no idea if anyone else has played Mirror. I mean, if anyone has, it probably had to be Azelius, but I don't know if he has.
Good point, good point. So a very aggressive flirt coming out of Qasim. This is like the one time where P.E.K.K.A decks can actually have an advantage, just early game if you go too aggressive. Especially with that E-Wiz on defense for, oh, he's running Splash Shard. Pretty sure it's not going to matter. I was going to say, like, he might have gotten too aggressive and he won't be able to do anything, but that NATO and Bomb Tower just cleans up everything. So, don't even need to worry.
Yeah, pretty nice control here for Kasim so far. Although, of matchups that do have a P.E.K.K.A in it, this one, other than the fact that he's up against Graveyard, for the other troops, for the Icewiz and Knight, not the worst situation. You know, it's not like you're up against the big swarms that you find yourself in more.
Mm-hmm.
And now P.E.K.K.A in front of Fisherman. So Icewiz is going to get taken care of fairly easily. This is that P.E.K.K.A Fisherman combo we were talking about earlier. And now Balloon to the opposite lane. Do you think Kasim just NATOs the King Tower here?
Yeah, he just takes that that damage and then he's fine. It's gonna... I'm guessing his last card is gonna be Fireball. AirSurfer, has he ran this deck before? Or is this just a complete surprise?
I don't think I've seen AirSurfer run this yet.
Okay. My assumption is that it's Fireball last card. And I don't think he's in a great spot to be able to take out a tower even with that balloon shot. So I think, you know, when you're running these kind of decks, like the Splash Shard deck, okay, yeah, we do see the Fireball. You can just play really, really safe and just take that Keen Tower activation just because it's going to be so hard for him to actually get damage as the game goes along. In fact, I think that's a really good play from Qasim. A lot of the time these kind of decks lose is because they try and play too perfectly. You can play like really smart and just, you know, play really safe and not worry yourself too much on interactions. And you can just make sure that you can confirm a victory pretty easily that way.
Graveyard now down defensively to work on the P.E.K.K.A. and the Mega Minion. Zap to clear some of that off. And now Poison opposite side here for Kasim. And now look at this, AirSurfer going P.E.K.K.A. to the opposite lane with 90 seconds left and only 6:17 remaining on his left-hand tower. There is no way Jonathan Stromberg to completely avoid a Princess Tower hit when you're NATOing Balloon the King. That's just something you gotta eat that damage in that situation. It's a calculation people make. So this is a pretty healthy push on the right-hand side. But this isn't the push. The question is, can AirSurfer turn it into the next one? And here we go. P.E.K.K.A. at the bridge, Graveyard in on defense. Icewiz focusing on the P.E.K.K.A. right now as the Balloon tries to sneak on through. Bomb Tower does not get the pull here. NATO has to come out for Kasim, and now he's being forced to maybe spend a little bit extra on defense. Balloon into the opposite lane. Defense from the E-Wiz and the Mega Minion on the Graveyard Poison and on the left-hand lane. Balloon trying to get on by. Not going to happen, but P.E.K.K.A. now at the bridge. Pressure in from AirSurfer. All he can do right now is put pressure down. Fireball in on the Baby Dragon. Mama P.E.K.K.A. totally distracted. She has absolutely nowhere to go. Poison opposite lane from Kasim. Final 15 seconds. And it looks like Kasim has this one pretty well sewn up in game number 1. No real way to break through. AirSurfer certainly made things interesting as you can in this situation, but too difficult of a matchup situation, and Kasim takes game number 1.
Yeah, he put that really well. It just comes down to P.E.K.K.A. just wasn't able to do anything. I don't know what needs to happen with it. Like, I want to just make it a fast troop and just see what happens to the meta. Obviously, that's not going to be healthy for the game, but you know, something needs to change. Otherwise, we're really never going to be seeing that in any competitive games and be able to be a main deck that you have to watch out for.
I guess here's the question. Do you think that the switch to dual mode for CRL is enough to make that change?
If there is going to be a change, I think that would be it. You know, I think we're going to be able to look at that in a month and have an answer. My answer currently is going to be no. I think there's still too much out there that counters it. Wall breakers, recruits, Loon, Ice Golem, all those kind of cards are just way too strong against it. But I will say there is the possibility that you're going against more MK decks that aren't like well crafted, and so then you can easily win those. There is the possibility that that will be enough to make it something you have to watch out for. Yeah,
that's it. Well, very curious, you know, especially in BO3s, it's one thing. What I'm curious about is in BO5s, when we start getting into the best of 5 range for duels. If you know, if you have a deck that you create a P.E.K.K.A. deck to try to pull it out in game 3 or game 4 when you have a ton of information already, if there's some viability there potentially.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll be getting to game number 2 here in just a moment. Poor Mama P.E.K.K.A. says Sakina Fuzby. Yeah, I agree. That's for sure. And as long as we're here, guys, go ahead and follow. Oh, let's go ahead and jump into our game. Go ahead and follow AC on Twitter. You can follow him on Twitch. He is streaming on Twitch fairly regularly.
Every single day.
Yeah, it's a lot of streaming.
It's a lot of streaming. It's been a lot of fun too. So it's been, even though it's been difficult, it's also been pretty easy at the same time.
I've heard that those things are the same.
Yeah.
Archers split in the back here for Kasim to open up. And AirSurfer not going to take any bait on this one. Heidi Lopez saying, bring back 3M Elixir Collector. Ugh.
I agree.
Yeah, that 3M pump countered like my entire deck pool back in the day, so.
I miss those days. I watched like an old CCGS game, and I think it was against Bernstein. I think I had like 5 or 6 pumps. I think it was 5. I think I had 5 pumps against him at one point.
I did enjoy playing Pump Bow for when it was before it got, sent to the back of the line.
Yeah, that was a great deck as well. I just loved Elixir Collector. I understood why, it was bad for the game. If you didn't have the right cycle, you just auto-win with those kind of decks. But man, was that a great card. The pure enjoyment you got from playing that card was phenomenal.
Looking like graveyard here for Kasim. And AirSurfer again going P.E.K.K.A. Fascinating.
Same deck, same exact deck. I guess it's just because he's... I feel like if you're gonna run something like that, it's only because you really respect their... It's either you only respect them using one specific deck, or you respect that deck like way more than everything. I feel like he's just trying to counter RG, and he doesn't care what else he plays against. But so far, Qasim has been able to beat him when he isn't running RG.
Yeah, this has been good picking here for Qasim to not fall for it, essentially, to not give himself the trap, known as an RG player, but AirSurfer not quite hitting the mark here. P.E.K.K.A. at the bridge, Mega Minion and Brawler in support. Brawler goes in front of the P.E.K.K.A. And that's a lot of fireball there.
Yeah, misses the fireball. It's not really going to matter. It's going to matter a little bit. Knight's going to die. But yeah, Push is still going to be dead.
Lord Baelish asking, why does everyone think P.E.K.K.A. is female? Because P.E.K.K.A. is female. I don't know. Like, why do you think Wonder Woman is female? Like, what do you mean? It's been said very specifically that P.E.K.K.A. is female in... I think it might even be in the Clash Royale app. I'm going to actually open up Clash Royale now.
That's a good point.
Just to see if it says that. Let me go ahead and open up, but I know that P.E.K.K.A. is described.
I feel like at the very least it said something Mama P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah. Oh, they
wow,
don't.
Cannon cart with its dying breath to give it to that guy.
It actually doesn't say anything in the app, but all of the Supercell official Clash Royale stuff about it says that it's Mama P.E.K.K.A. and that P.E.K.K.A. is a lady. So, Lord Baelish, in your show you were typically very courteous and courtly, so maybe show Mama P.E.K.K.A. that same respect, huh? But the creator said that she was female. There you go. Did you know the Ice Wiz speaks Finnish? I did not know that. But that would
really?
Make sense. That would not surprise me. Cannon cart in.
That's one of the trivia facts that I actually did know. One of the very few.
Yeah, the app doesn't say it, but I believe that the creators have talked about it.
After playing like 4 minutes of just gorgeous Clash Royale and not making any mistakes, that was not the cleanest defense. He places the Uwiz just one side of the right of the Crown Tower and the Mega Minion the same, but on the left, and then just gives way too much fireball value.
Balloon trying to sneak on through. Mega Minion's going to stop that, though. Cannon cart getting across the bridge. Does he stop it before Cage does get high? And Mega Minion does not swipe on tower. 993 to 1382 in the final 15 seconds. Basically, this balloon hits or it's GG. That's pretty much the story right now. Cannon cart trying to sneak on through. Balloon does not get picked up by the bomb tower, but the cannon cart goes down, and defending the cannon cart undoes AirSurfer, and Kasim wins 2-0.
Look, you have to imagine he was going to snowball it and it was going to be fine. But that is just brutal. Like, just doesn't even give himself a chance when the cannon cart breaks. That is so funny.
Oh, boy. Yeah, absolute. Cannon cart going into phase 2 creates so many weird and interesting moments in this game, which is why cannon cart has long been one of my favorites. I think actually one of the things that during the audition for CRL, during the audition phase, we live cast the, I think it was like the actual final match, Music Master and Sergio Ramos from CCGS. And I think one of the things that made the people from Clash Royale during that audition really like me was when I talked about cannon cart being underrated. They were like, oh, I remember seeing them nod their heads when I talked about it. And yeah, I've always been a fan of Cannon Cart, and maybe my fandom of Cannon Cart is part of how I got this job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cannon Cart just has like the coolest interactions. One of my favorite tweets that I've seen, I think it was like a month ago, this dude cloned his Cannon Cart because his opponent was running some like bomber loon deck, and then the bomber splashed onto the cloned one, so then the balloon went over to that and killed it, and then was going to go to the tower, but then the bomber then killed the other Cannon Cart, and then it went back to the other Cannon Cart. It was like one of the cooler plays I've seen in like from all of Clash Royale. Like, yeah. Cannon Cart just has great interactions.
Yeah, that sounds really fun, in fact. Yeah. Khalik Uzman saying, I want to participate, question mark. Well, I mean, are you asking, like, are you curious, like, you don't know if you want to participate? Is that, because the way I would read your comment is, I want to participate? But if you are actually looking to participate, this tournament did have open qualifiers. Half the field, in fact, were open qualifiers, but we're past that stage. But there will be other events like this in the future. Follow me on Twitter for information on that. And, of course, also another link in the chat there. CRL 2021 is open to you. So just push top 1,000 ladder, and then you are in CRL. Congratulations, man. You can go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and jump into our next one, Parker and Bag. Going to see Three Musketeers someday. I think someone played 3M during the EU portion of the tournament, if I remember correctly.
I want to say it was Azealis.
That sounds right.
But that's also easy for me to say because he's the only one besides Bag who uses that. But I really think it was. I really think it was.
Yeah, he did play a lot of really crazy stuff. And he's having some fun here in 2021 so far. 8-Bit played 3M twice, says Wall in the Asian region. Yeah, Servanth saying that Azealis did play 3M Pump Pigs. There we go.
There you go, there you go.
So for those of you who want to see 3M Pump, there it is. And Bag just spamming that Mega Knight emote. And this is, as you guys asked before, what a staring contest is. This is it. They're both just sitting there, throwing out the emotes, and waiting for the person to move. Or wait until double. So, AC, watching any good shows lately?
I swear. I've been watching movies, actually. I haven't watched any shows recently. I saw Molly's Game. That was alright. I'm not a huge fan of that. Have you seen Rounders?
Yes, I was playing poker a lot when that movie came out, in fact.
Yeah, that's gonna go down as one of the better movies that I've seen. It probably cracks my top 100, top 50 all-time list of movies. I love poker movies. In fact, I just love poker overall. Rounders
is pretty phenomenal. We used to crack Rounders jokes back in our poker circles, you know, quoting the movie and stuff, but kind of in a cheeky way. Giant skeleton in the left-hand side, Inferno Dragon behind.
For my stream title a couple days ago, I said something about calling me Mike McDermott, just because I forgot what it was that made me say that, but such a good character.
So long delay here, Giant Skeleton Graveyard for Bag. Parker also running GUI. You understand why some of the staring contest did happen here. Armadi says The Expanse. I prefer the book series to the show. And Jonathan Stromberg asked about Stargate. Not only have I seen Stargate, I own the original film with James Spader on Blu-ray, and also I have seen all of Stargate SG-1, Stargate Universe, and Stargate Atlantis. So, yes, I have seen Stargate, to answer your question there. 1989 on the left-hand side. A fun year, also the name of a Taylor Swift album. 2 minutes remaining here now as we go into sudden death overtime. So far, Bag in control.
This is such a fun cycle out of Bag because, like, he's only ran the same 5 cards. He just keeps cycling in between those cards and those cards only. I don't know if the other cards are going to be like freeze and a building and something that isn't possible on offense. But it's really interesting to see him only use those 5 cards so far.
Yeah, someone in the chat saying trying to snipe lava. And wouldn't be surprising against Parker. Didn't Taylor Swift have an album called 1989? Am I wrong there?
I'm not a huge T-Swizzle fan, so I can't confirm or deny.
Neither am I. I'm just going to Google 1989 and see if that actually is correct. Album by Taylor Swift. There we go. I knew I was right there. My references come in hot every once in a while.
That's an impressive reference.
I couldn't even tell you the name of a Taylor Swift song, but I know that that's the name of an album. There we go. 1057 left-hand side. And Bag is just kind of abusing this matchup right now. Well, Bag has been attempting the snipes all day. It's mostly worked out fairly well. And even though it didn't get the matchup he was looking for here, Bag certainly in complete firm control.
Wow, that NATO didn't even, like, it made the E stutter, and it never even got it never got a second shot right there. That was kind of an interesting interaction.
Giant Skeleton down at the bridge to hold the line here for Bag. No tanks will get across. So this defense should be more than sufficient for Bag to take game number 1. The NATO tries to pull the Giant Skeleton back, doesn't do much. Fireball in, and that's going to be a GG well played. Bag takes game number 1 over Parker with yet another interesting concoction, you might say, out of his deck pool.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that deck. Great against lava, solid against other decks, can like manage against other decks really. And then even though he was sniping lava, he still got a great matchup right there. Inferno Dragon just takes out every single card you could possibly use for your Splash Shark. And then a deserved win. Yeah,
very, very solid win. And you know, we've talked about this a little bit before you jumped on the voice chat here, AC, but you know, talking about how much effort it seems like Bag has been putting into building decks and trying to snipe the players he's opposing and trying to go for matchup as opposed to just playing a collection of 5 meta decks that he's been practicing a whole bunch. You know, it seemed to be paying off for Bag fairly well here, and it seems like it's also going to be very important as we go deeper into CRL and we learn more and more about players' deck pools when it comes to the duel mode. Where do you think that puts the role of an analyst as far as we go into competitive play for 2021?
I mean, I think they're going to be extremely important, but they have to be with players who are willing to adjust and willing to run things that they don't like, that they don't even practice. I have Bag as one of my highest rated players for CRL just because I love what he's done in the past few months, always running things that no one else is willing to do, making sure that he understands all kinds of interactions, not just the important ones, important to the community. So I think as long as you're a player who's willing to put in work and try and learn the entire game rather than just the first 30 cards, analysts are going to be very important for those kind of players.
And that's the thing you talked about, the entire game, that was the first 30 cards. People talk about what makes certain players so good at Clash Royale, and you know, you talk about some of those top S-tier players, and there's a significant level of versatility where you can kind of put anything in their hands and they'll be fairly successful in that moment. You know, people ask about why is Ruben so good? Well, there you have it, because of his ability to play pretty much any card you put in his hand, any combination you put in his hand. You know, talking about Americans in CRL 2021, you've already mentioned Bag as one of your top picks. Who are some Americans you think who have a real shot at making a big splash in CRL 2021?
Well, I mean, obviously I have to say AirSurfer. He's just a phenomenal player right there. And even though he doesn't run crazy decks, he's just so solid overall that it doesn't really matter. He will just be able to compete and, you know, do well in that. After those two, not really sure. I could see Parker doing fairly well as long as he's willing to, if he can get another 2 one-trick decks, where he's competing and doing well with that, I could see him. Can we consider Mini Minter part of NA?
Well, he's playing in NA for this event, interestingly enough.
Then I will send Mini Minter as well. I think he's really skilled. He was gonna be in CRL if he didn't have his parents not allow him to. He's a very solid player, and so he should be able to compete with the best of them for sure.
You know, I'm trying to remember. Was that game number 1 of the Parker versus Bag matchup?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was waiting on game number 2. There's a little bit of a delay here, so we should be getting. This is the final match of the day for Parker versus Bag, the last match of today's stream, and then of course we'll be back tomorrow with Group C action. And here we go. Just as I was asking, let's go into game number 2. Advantage Bag.
And then
go ahead.
I also saw a lot of people say Boss, and I just completely forgot about him. Yes, Boss as well. I agree with that.
So here we go. The Zappies split.
Wow. If you didn't look at the names on the bottom, you would definitely think it was Bag on the bottom and Parker on top.
Well, I mean, Balloon Graveyard isn't that central meta either.
Yeah, you're right. Didn't even. It's just like it's so hard for it to register when you're watching Bag play, because your brain automatically assumes that that's like a visual glitch or something. All right, you know what? I take back what I said.
And still, we did see Bag run this deck that Parker's running as well. So
yeah.
Yeah, this is all insanity.
I just can't believe I saw him do Loon at the bridge, followed by Graveyard, and I just thought it was a real play. Like, there was no part of me that looked at it and said, oh yeah, that's just something I would do, so I get that.
Now this is interesting. The Balloon going to get right after that Goblin Hut. Zappies come out to try to stop it. And this is going to be a lot on the left-hand lane. The Snowball cleans up most of it. Still, Zappies do connect. Parker going to take a fairly significant lead here as we get closer to double elixir time.
Yeah, and with Bag only having Snowball as his spells, and with Hunter and Zappies, he's never going to be able to get a clean Loon connection, because the defensive Zappies against the Loons are going to do too much, just have way too much value for that. He's going to need to win off a Graveyard connection, and look at that. He's taking the tower because of a Graveyard connection.
Graveyard into the right-hand side. Snowball cleans up the skeleton army, and look at that tower going to fall on the right-hand side. Parker trying to push on the left, but maybe the double hut not working out, although that left-hand tower now to 120, 146. Left-hand tower will fall with 25 seconds left. The question is, how well does Parker defend from this point forward?
A phenomenal Zappies prediction right there. That is exactly what he needed to do. Hunter's going to be a little too late. If he gets that correct tile placement, that would have been phenomenal. Still throws out the fireball anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, just a great Zappies catch on that Hunter. Parker hadn't defended that way throughout the entire game, and so for him to predict that he was going to start defending that way, it's just really, really intelligent play from him right there.
Here we go, sudden death, overtime, 2 minutes left. Pocket Loon with the Knight. The Goblin had to pull that Balloon back. Snowball to deal with the Zappies, but the Zappies still do turn towards the Balloon. Death damage anyway, though. So with a minute 35 remaining, it is Bag with the lead, 10:42 to 2:33. And now the big question here isn't so much does Bag get this tower down, because obviously lots of tools to keep that from happening from Parker. It's the question of, can Parker get enough damage on tower?
Yeah, I mean, Parker's deck just struggles so much in two-tower situations. He basically needs to win it in a single-tower game, just because, his Goblin Barrels, if he's just ignoring it and it's just a singular Goblin Barrel, it gets, one or two shots from the Goblins. It just doesn't get a lot of value right there. So I would be shocked to see him be able to pull out a victory. We're going to have to see, though.
Fireball in, then Fireball mirrored to work on the Zappies, and on that right-hand side, Skarmy, a good Skarmy surround here, but Snowball ready. Bag just sitting on that big ball of ice to make sure the Skarmy is ineffective in these matchups. A across-the-bridge play of the Goblin Hut. Valkyrie now working on defense against the Graveyard, but Bag way in control here.
Wow.
Parker going in so hard. Fireball on the right-hand side. Skarmy on tower. Hunter working on the King Tower. Is Parker going to win this one? Parker comes from behind and wins this with the 3 crown. What a great matchup here between these two to finish off our day.
That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening. I mean, phenomenal job by Parker not to use Skarmy on defense. He just trusts that it's not going to do enough damage, and then he just goes all in. Skarmy's in the pocket. Yeah, to be able to say Skarmy in the pocket, well, Skarmy's in the pocket, and have that be like the winning play. I mean, that is a great adjustment from him, and I mean that comes back to being able to like just recognize how to play each matchup with different cards. And so yeah, that game alone gives me a lot more confidence in saying that like Parker and Bag are both going to be ready for the dual mode of 2021.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of fun. And someone pointed out in the chat, Mirror is still undefeated in this event, in a portion of the tournament. So, yeah, never would have thought it. Let's go into game number 3. Bans are Lava Hound and Inferno Dragon, and Goblin Barrel comes in for Bag. Zappies in response. It feels like in the last 3 to 6 weeks, we've seen a huge rise in Zappy use.
Yeah, and that just has to come from the Earthquakes. Although it's kind of odd, I really haven't seen an Earthquake be used whatsoever in the games that I've watched.
Yeah, today it's been sparingly today with the Earthquake.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Maybe it was like a group decision, like...
They just all came together and said no Earthquake. Someone ran Earthquake today. I know that. I just don't remember. It wasn't a ton of it today.
Okay, for sure.
And Skarmy pressure at the left-hand side. Goblin Barrel to the right-hand side. Zappy's working on the Skarmy. Arrows come out. So, I don't know what game this is, but apparently it's Clash Royale.
Okay, so Parker probably running Loon, but with Candy Card it's gonna not confirmed. And then Bag running, okay, yeah, it's gonna be Recruits Loon. And then I love this. This is a great choice from Parker, running a deck with arrows. I think that's pretty smart. I mean, especially with the matchup that he got. And this is gonna be a fun game to watch. It's gonna be interesting to see how Bag uses his Hunter. If he uses it really well, he's going to be in a good spot, but this is going to be a very difficult game for him.
What makes this the most difficult here for Bag?
Just the fact that if Parker only needs one, if Bag doesn't use his Hunter correctly just one time, he can't use Zappies on defense for the Loons just because Snowball Arrows kills. If he has like a really good push going down, Gamma Hut is going to be able to get value on defense against the Loon, but the Recruits are going to clean it all up, so it's not really going to be the best. And he has to pre-plant Goblin Hut a lot of the time, so it's just going to be very difficult for him to be able to defend properly.
Recruits on the left-hand side, Fireball trying to get in. The Hunter this time does defend the Loon, but doesn't matter. Recruits going ham on the left-hand side, and now the death damage connection, 1066 left. Parker with the lead right now over Bag as we are just 22 seconds away from sudden death. Goblin Barrel left-hand lane, gets behind Hunter, picks that up very easily. Cannon Cart, Hunter behind the Recruits on the left-hand side. Fireball, oh, the Fireball misses everything from Bag.
Oh, that Fireball miss is so huge. Isn't able to clean up the Candy Cart because of that, and that is just not what you like to see. Tough way to lose it.
What a rough one. Parker pulls out a big-time win here against Bag on the already difficult situation for Bag, but the Fireball certainly didn't help. And I believe that's Parker's second win on the day. So after a rough start, 0-2 in match play, moves to 2-2. So we're going to have to go ahead and double-check that to be sure, but I believe that is the results for Parker, although Parker does still have AirSurfer to play against and CMChugh to play against. And one more person, I can't remember who his final matchup, oh, and Brighton as well, right? Is that his last matchup? Let's see.
Parker, I haven't seen any games from Brighton.
Parker played against Kasim, Alaa, Dread, and Bag. So those are his remaining matches. Mirror no longer undefeated, but Mirror still had quite a day-to-day anyway. SK Gaming in the chat. I don't think that's the actual SK Gaming there, guys, but you know, it I guess potentially could be. Yeah, people not happy about that. That's a rough way to lose, but also a tough matchup for Bag there anyway. Let's go to School Bag, says SK Gaming. Interesting. Here we go. Standings after the first day of group play for this collection of 8 players. Kasim 4-0 at the top, totally in control of the group. AirSurfer behind at 3-1. Alaa at 2-1, and now Parker moves up into the top 4 with that win over Bag, and a very important one as he and Bag are both 2-2. If you have 2 players tied, head-to-head is the first tiebreaker. CMC at 1-2. Brighton and Dread Unlock both still looking for their first win, and one of them will find it for sure when they play in 4 days for the second half of this group action. And I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and mute AC for a minute there as he I don't know, like fixes his keyboard or whatever.
Sorry, I was doing some research. If it makes you feel better, I was doing some research.
Yeah,
2 minutes ago. Brighton CR, my teacher literally busted me playing Qasim, Uncomfortable Day, done with BCC2.
Oh.
So, it just, I had heard that him and Parker were in like rough spots playing this because of school and all that kind of thing. And that's just a horrible way to lose a game with your teacher busting you. I had that happen to me in so many 15Ks, mostly in my Spanish class, and it's just brutal.
Yeah, I don't know how you even, how you even try to pretend like you're not playing during class. How do you even cover that up? You have to, just take a lot of bathroom breaks, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, teach, my stomach hurts. I might be a while. And then go ahead and try to hit that 15K the best that you can. Can you show the score? Guys, if you want to keep up with all the scores here, you can go to the app grade app. It's available both on
Bren
the iOS
Chong
and...
Cup.
that's the ending video there on both iOS and your, what's the other one? Android devices. There's the link for you in the chat. One more link here for co-caster Joshua Crap Sharon. There's his Twitter. Go ahead and follow him on Twitch as well. You can get the link there on Josh's Twitter. Are you streaming again today, AC?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna make some food, probably do some schoolwork, and then hop on the stream around like 4 or 5 PST.
4 or 5, that's Pacific time for those of you guys who, which would be in 20 minutes to an hour, depending. Oh no, never mind. I'm on looking at some time. In a few hours, he'll be live. He'll be live on Twitch. I forgot that I'm in Texas now.
Yeah, I was trying to see if you would work through the progressions. And
I got there eventually. Guys, thanks so much for joining. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. There's a link in the chat, and of course, there's a link to Cashman's Twitch to follow with LATAM. The LATAM region will be kicking off here in about an hour or 2. So. There's that link in the chat for you there. And one more time, thanks, AC. It's been fun hanging out with you guys. Peace, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Or 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. European time for more of the Bren Chong Cup 2. Later. See you then.
To follow all what happens in the competition, keep an eye on the Revel IMAR social networks and the AppGrade application. Thank Bren Chong for sponsoring this competition and making this event possible. Bren Chong Cup 2. Get ready for the show.